armor strategy, but I, d- I just feel like it's a little bit too dated. There's too many ways to work around it, and some of these ag shard timings just completely ruin what it tries to do, basically. And on top of that, some of the carries that it was really good against in the Faceless Void, in the Spectre, these style of heroes, they don't exist in the meta right now, at least for the majority of teams. So I just feel like when you're going up against the likes of Ricky, Morphling,
Radiant
Troll,
team ban.
even a Luna occasionally. Like a Slutter doesn't really fit the bill.
What do we got coming through though? Yangon, this is a pretty early Phantom Assassin. You've got a protection with the Oracle. Are you worried though that the PA and Oracle could get punished during the laning stage?
Mm,
10
really early on,
seconds
yes,
remaining.
but once you get up to the few levels in the
5
purifying flames,
seconds
you're able to
remaining.
start denying out your own range creeps, which is always really effective, just to be able to give you that little bit of a laning advantage, which is one of the reasons why I really value the Enigma, for example. You're just always going to get that passively. You only need to put the 1 point into the demonic conversion for the Eidolons, but Oracle, you're going to get flames anyway for harass as well as denying.
Yeah, so now
Just
I
trying to think.
guess
With the series that Yangon won, was that with a PA? I feel like it was with like a
yeah, they
rapier
played.
comeback or something like
Yep,
that, right?
yeah, that was
Yeah,
it. Where it was against Galaxy Racer, that Mega Creep comeback with the rapier.
mm.
Yeah.
With an Underlord on their side, and well, they've actually banned out the Underlord themselves, so not going to get a big stalling game this time around. It doesn't seem like these Yangon heroes at least don't do that well at
Radiant
defending
team
high
pick.
ground, and even Mirana really needs to get up in their face unless she buys an Ags, but Ags just doesn't feel anywhere near as strong as it used to.
I'm surprised that Army Geniuses actually banned the Storm Spirit. I feel like well, looking at their two heroes right now, Mirana ET don't really have much ways to deal with the
10 seconds
high
remaining.
mobile hero like the Spirit. But a lot of time, I feel like
Dire
it's one of the
team
best
pick.
positioned twos to really heavily deal with the Oracle. So I thought that was going to be a mid laner that could keep them open to try and deal with the Oracle, but it looks like they're more worried about their lack of stuns in the support.
Hmm. Yeah, just trying to get in onto the back line. I understand that. I mean, I'm just trying to
10
think of what else they
seconds
could potentially
remaining.
look to do. I mean, this Mirana, you don't really see it anywhere but the position 4 these
5
days. Elder
seconds
Titan,
remaining.
3 or 5, it's a little bit up in the air. When they first picked it, I was like, oh, are they considering a Wisp? But I don't think we've seen Army Geniuses play the IO just yet. So, yeah, still leaving things a little bit open. Having IO in your pool of pickable heroes just changes up drafts so much. It means teams constantly have to be worrying about it. It has to be first phase banned, and with so many strong heroes these days, it just makes your entire strategy so much easier. It's why I think Fnatic have really rocketed up the standings. I know Neon do play it, but I think they need to do it a little bit more. They haven't done it in the DPC just yet, but they've been doing it in scrims, I believe, as well as some of these little side tournaments that they've been a part of. But I feel like that's the only difference maker that they really need to be a true tier 1 team.
Yeah, well, we saw 0-2 when they put out the core IO a couple times with Dreamer Soul. I think they won both those games. That they won that series very convincingly, and I
And
don't
on
think.
Monday,
Yeah,
we saw
exactly.
2 IO games
Yep,
stomped.
exactly. That's what I was just about to bring up. A
Radiant
Mega. They
team
hadn't
pick.
played the IO so far throughout the lower division. They pull it out in both. They pull it out in those games, and it was just it's nuts. You have this back pocket. You see a lot of pretty much every European team has a way to play the eye, whether it's in the core role, the support role, and it's forced to more than likely, I'd say like 80%, even higher, potentially banned out in the first phase, and it just we've always highlighted the flexibility. If you have this special hero on your team that you can play, I guess in particular for Lil Gun, the nice thing about then is that they have a lot of these
Remaining.
cheese heroes that teams have to ban out, and it leaves their
5
draft very
seconds remaining.
open. And this is what an IO can do when you can play it as a core and a support at a very high level.
Yeah, but then you got teams like Signal that just don't ban any of those heroes and let them play the exact same heroes 2 games in a row and end up losing. So, drafting is a big thing that I think needs to
Dire
improve for a lot
team
of these
ban.
teams in the lower division. The skill is there, and well, we're going to see a lot of team fighting. There's lots of
Well,
stuns. We got some strong lanes. I'm liking this so far from Army Geniuses, but the
that a,
question remains: who's the core?
yeah, is
Who's
that
the
a
mid?
tied call? That's what I'm looking at right now. Like, hang on, what's going on here?
Hmm.
Radiant
I mean, I
team
feel like you
ban.
want to run the Sand King into the PA just because once you level up that caustic finale, there's nothing really that an Oracle can do against you to consistently harass you out.
Radiant team ban.
So yeah, maybe it's tied mid. Could very well be.
And I like we have been bringing up a lot throughout the lower division the Sand King Mirana combo, that whenever Mirana is without the Sand King, it feels very lackluster. And when you pair it up with the Sand King, you just see the value of that hero skyrocket. So I feel like already, yes, you do have, I think the best way to deal with Mirana is a hard dispel with the Oracle. But regardless, it's going to be a devastating combo, just being able to catch you out super easily once Sand King gets a pretty quick blink timing.
Yeah, and if they're able to just keep killing this Oracle over and over again, then there's going to be nothing to prevent the PA from getting harassed and bullied out of the lane. They do end up going the Riki, so that is a good way to get it onto the back lines. If a PA goes something like a BKB to deal with all these stuns that might be running at her, Riki doesn't really care all that much. Once you've got the tricks of the trade, you're just going to be doing damage regardless, and it's good in the early laning stage against a Mars. So I really like this Riki pick coming out from Army Geniuses.
5 seconds remaining.
From Yangon, though, we get a similar sort of thing, right? You always want... Probably Mars is the only other hero that combos together reasonably well with the Mirana. You don't always need to land the spear. Oftentimes, just getting the God's Rebuke for the slow is enough to be able to guarantee that arrow landing. But Rubik, Telekinesis, just raise him up straight in the air, spear into a tree. That's a good amount of burst damage. Like, level 3, you're going to kill most heroes. So it's going to really be on this Elder Titan to make sure his positioning is on point.
Is that a lane where ET can actually even play into? Because ET is very strong as a laning support, but Mars Rubik is one of the best 1-2 combos in the off lane.
I think he just needs to try and make the absolute most that he can at level 1, basically, to try and harass out, get rid of as much regen as possible from the Yangon heroes so that they're not feeling quite as confident to try and make an offensive play. Like I said, when Rubik hits level 3, you're going to have, I believe, 140 damage coming through from the Fade Bolt. You're going to have a lot more harass coming through from just spamming out the Rebuke and the Spear. It's going to be a lot for ET to be able to deal with.
They're going to go for the last pick Ember here for Hor in the mid lane, so we will end up seeing how Army Geniuses are trying to run this, and it looks like it's going to be the Tide more than likely. I mean, they haven't... Yeah, it will be. Interesting.
All right.
So how are we feeling about this matchup? Tide versus the Ember. The last pick from Yangon, more than likely expecting the Tide to go mid. Are you a fan of this matchup? How's it going to feel?
I mean, he doesn't really have too many ways to deal with the Flame Guard, which is going to be a bit of an issue, right? You don't have to hit the Tide Hunter, so the Kraken Shell is going to be pretty inconsequential. Of course, you can just max out your Anchor Smash and do a lot of harass through there, but I think Hor should have just a fine time. I do like that Army Geniuses are changing things up a little bit, though, right? They're saying, look, screw the meta. We're going to put a mid-Tide Hunter, try and change things up a little bit, get some early timings to try and deal with this PA. Like I said, you don't really need the Kraken Shell to be able to deal with the Ember Spirit, but just 1 point is enough to be able to break out of the Searing Chains, for example. So I think maybe that's where they're going with this. But, I like their side lanes. I think as long as Yu plays not too aggressively once they get the levels up on Yangon's heroes, they should have an alright time. I'm liking Army Geniuses so far.
And if Yangon were going to be able to take this game, what is required from their draft?
I think it's just good execution, basically. Like, they've got a lot of skill shots on their team right now. You've got you've got the Burrow Strike, which isn't always going to be landing, so you've got to be able to contest against that. But then, of course, Rubik Skill A is a very good player of that hero. Ember Spirit, he just needs to be ducking in and out. It's going to be very hard for them to kill the Tide Hunter. That's my biggest issue for them. And especially now that it's being a core, it's going to have all of those levels and just be a tanky frontliner. I suppose that's the one thing that they are lacking a little bit. Will the Sand King opt to go for the Boots of Travel, just continuously shove out lanes and put pressure on in that way? But hopefully Yangon's internet connection is all right. We know that they are based out of Myanmar, and with everything else that's going on there, we do wish them the best.
Nicely done.
Yeah, we do indeed. Hopefully everything is okay with the scenario. Continues to improve slightly, but they've been a team that is trying to just build some momentum and continue to get the cohesion. At the moment, sitting at the bottom of the table, but this is a team that is still incredibly young. I mean, young PH, 16 years old. So if they can just get the reps in, get the experience, I think this is just the nice thing about the DPC, how it's formulated now. Just a lot more reps for these unexperienced players for the tier 2, tier 3 scene. And, we're able to see them just, and even some teams are rising up to the occasion and kind of shining in the spotlight.
For sure. All right. Well, like we were expecting, we are going to see Skille play his Rubik. He's, like we were saying before, it feels a little shallow, his hero pool, but when you can play at the high standard that he does on the Rubik and Earth Spirit, why not just do it every single time?
Yeah, it's definitely... I'm trying to think, has he played any other heroes but the Rubik and the Earth Spirit? At least off the top of my head, I can't really think of any.
Nicely done.
Maybe in some of the weeks that we haven't been casting, they played something different. Let me have a quick look. I think he played the Shaker in the series against Signal, and they ended up winning one of those games. He played it twice.
So he's showing an extra hero to add to the pool, but yeah, it's going to be a really nice combo. I mean, the Rubik and the Mars, I do like at least the Ricky against the Mars matchup, just because naturally this is a very good way to be able to get out of the arena. But I think the big issue is the laning phase, that you're not really going to be able to trade as efficiently against these Radiant high damage dealing heroes throughout the laning stage. So like you said, I think it's very important for you to be able to have a good start to the lane and maybe force out a lot of regen, where it'll then make it difficult for Yangon to play aggressively as they'd like to around like level 2 and level 3.
And I think even on top of that, the way that Yangon need to start these fights, they can't just go in onto a Riki with a Mars. That could just be an arena of blood wasted, all of their team fights suddenly gone if that's the case. They need to wait for the Ember Spirit to actually be the one that initiates with the Searing Chains Sleight of Fist combo. Then you can look for the Blink Spear into the arena, and then it's an entirely different scenario there. So really, that seems like the way that for the majority of these things that they're going to have to take these team fights, right? Because you get the Tide Hunter, he's probably going to be pretty beefy. Mirana, if you're quick enough, you can actually leap out of the arena before it forms. Elder Titan, do you really care about a position 5 catching that in an arena? Probably not. And Sand King is just going to be able to Burrow Strike away. So a lot of this is going to be on Hor, on his Ember Spirit, to be able to start these fights and just guarantee things a little bit more, rather than just going for the prospective, I guess is the right word to go, like the hopeful team fight initiations.
What do you think the item build is going to be for the Ember this game? Is there any way he has to fit in a Spirit Vessel to help deal with the Tide Hunter? Or is it just going to be kind of the common, Maelstrom into maybe like a BKB?
Let's have a think here, because like Oracle isn't one of the supports that can be farming away. Mirana can. Same sort of thing with a Rubik. Like, you never want to be sitting back and farming. So how much farm is there on the map is the real question that I'm trying to think of here. PA, of course, is going to take the lion's share of it. Mars can just spam out waves. But what is Ember Spirit's role in this game? You would have to think that it might even be something like just going into a Yule Scepter and just being this elusive team fight initiator that's also good at being able to, prevent epicenters from going off, to be able to save people from Sand King, Burrow Strike, arrow combos, even just save yourself. Same thing with the Riki and the smoke screen. You want to be able to allow the rest of your team to get there in time. And, well, they said go, but a few more DCs coming through from Yangon's side, unfortunately.
Some good old internet issues. Yeah, so I am intrigued to see how Army Genius is going to be able to deal with the Ember Spirit, though, as this one goes on. Like, I think the big way to deal with him is going to be the blink from the Sand King into an arrow, and then probably when Ricky's got that potential as well, because they do have a really high threat. Any Invis hero is very much going to be a big issue, especially when you have a Sand King and Mirana that's going to be playing together. So they'll probably need those 3 heroes as the game goes on to deal with the Ember. So whether he does go for that defensive item, like you said, in the Yules, or if he wants to be, because he probably has to be the hero that honestly shoves out the lanes right now, because the Oracle's not going to, PA is going to take a lot more of the defensive farm. Mars, we'll see how he'll play, but he can't play as aggressive because he doesn't have this escapability. So yeah, it definitely feels like the Ember, at least the play style, is to just delay as long as possible for the PA to come online. And once PA comes online, do you feel that young PH is going to be able to then carry Yangon?
Well, he's going to have to. They don't really have anyone else that's able to close out this game, whereas I feel like even just a Sand King on its own is able to deal so much more damage than a lot of the Yangon heroes. So we will have to wait and see. I mean, the issue is, again, who does the PA go on to start out these teamfight encounters? Tide, not really going to be all that effective. Ricky, if the dagger flies out towards you, you're going to be able to at least tricks away or worst case, use the blink. Sand King, he's probably not going to be standing on the front lines. And do you really care about a Mirana or an Elder Titan? Probably not too much. And again, they're not going to be sitting on the front lines. So it's going to be a lot of backstab plays, ironically, coming out from Yangon if they're going to try and take down this Ricky or the supports super early on into the team fights.
Yeah, they're definitely going to have this creative way to start. You take a look at Army Geniuses with the Tide as the core. I'm definitely intrigued to see how he also wants to kind of item build as this game goes on, or more, I should say, it's position 2 instead of just a flat core here. So, if he goes for the, I can't imagine it's going to be the aura items. So, Sand King can definitely fill that role. Could we potentially see like a Deso Tide, or even kind of the, wouldn't mind seeing the Ag Shard too.
I think a Deso Tide is very possible. Yeah, you're correct in the fact that their tower push isn't amazingly strong. Deso just on its own does, of course, help with that and enables Ricky and all of these other heroes like Mirana, just with the attack speed, is going to be able to give plenty of just right-click potential onto these towers. But yeah, like you mentioned, I feel like the Tide Ag Shard is one of the strongest in the game. It's just never really gets prioritized because you've got other people that fulfill that sort of tower taking role, but not this time. If it's mid-tide, that's the case.
Yeah, and in a game like this where you've got to really pressure the Phantom Assassin as much as possible, because there's a window where PA is incredibly weak, and even if you pick up that Battle Fury, it's not like the Ricky, where Ricky can still kind of get involved and have a lot more impact in team fights because of how the Battle Fury is going to be able to work with the tricks of the trade and just how more slippery you are. So Army Geniuses, if they do have a good start on the Tide Hunter, maybe if you get like this Deso and then really start ramping up and taking objectives, because that's the one thing they're lacking. And if you can get these early towers, it's going to minimize how Yangon can kind of play, and then it will force them to be more reactionary. Radiant.
For sure. One of the other things that we haven't mentioned, throughout the some part of the lower division, we've had 23 Savage playing for Team Hoyo. Of course, he's not standing in for them anymore. They've been changing things around a little bit, right? They had Forev that they started with. He had to take a step aside because of his business in Korea. Then we had 23 Savage come in. They moved, I think it was Miracle, right? Or
it was
Dreamer Cell.
Trying to think.
In your dream? No. There's so many swaps and changes going all throughout. Yeah, they moved Miracle to the off lane. They put 23 Savage into the carry position. And then since then, 23 Savage is now going to be standing in for Boom, who are our first who are playing first in the upper division after this series. So Drew, I believe, is taking a bit of a backseat there. I mean, if you have 23 Savage as a potential position 1 to pick up, it'd be silly not to at least consider the possibility.
No doubt.
So now they've got Tigger, I believe, standing in for the position 3 role for Hoyo moving forward. So he's another Thai player, played a lot with Fearless as well as Boombell. Set Zero, as he likes to call himself now.
I wasn't aware that Miracle actually moved to the 3 for a little bit. I thought they had Savage playing as a 3 for that stand-in when he did.
Nope. You give the man what he wants.
No doubt. I mean, he's a hell of a player. Exactly like you said. If you're able to pick him up on a team like Boom, then we could see. I'm very excited to see, honestly, how they're able to play with 23 Savage, and that's going to be a big series as well. To see him coming back, all of the Southeast Asia fans were. I'd honestly say they were rooting for him over in China, because definitely a high caliber player. Unfortunately, the scenario didn't worked out properly, and he had to sit on the sidelines for a little bit, and now that he's back in, it's going to be exciting to see him back and playing Dota. But the good thing is this game one, it's back underway. It looks like hopefully no more pauses, and we're going to see Army Geniuses up against Yangon here as this game one now commences.
Mang Dyer, he's been able to get a few last hits in this mid lane already, or he's just looking to get at least the 1 point into the Sleight of Fist. Not enough to secure that range creep though, so it's going to be suffering a little bit in terms of his experience differential super early on into the game, and you don't want to give a Tide the potential to just bull you down. Yeah, we can see now he's looking to put a few points into that Flame Guard. Just level 1 now, so the Gush is enough to get rid of it, and you can see he just doesn't really care enough to put Kraken Shell points in just yet.
Yeah, it's interesting that he goes for the point in the Gush here. I mean, it's got a very, very strong value level that we see a lot of the time now. The fact that previously, the Tide Hunter had this built-in, sorry, I should say with Stout Shield, how it didn't work. So you're no point of picking up Stout Shield, so you kind of wanted the Kraken Shell, but now everyone's got this built-in damage block on the melee, so there's not as much value. And then the Gush also got buffed up a lot as well, but just making sure at least he's got a value level to get rid of the Flame Guard at level 1. Otherwise, it would have been a nice chunk of damage that Hawk could dish out and would just maybe force Mang Dyer to get a little bit of extra regen coming through. But we see bot Young PH, he's in trouble. Couple of Asians coming out, but unfortunately that is not enough as Lim. He's going to be able to secure first blood, and already we see the Sand King Mirana combo paying off massive here.
Oh no.
Yeah, that's the power of it. You just, as soon as it's first available, are they level 3 yet? No, just level 2. So just needing the points in the Caustic Finale now to shove it underneath the tower. Young PH is not going to mind that too much because at least he's going to be able to farm with relative safety, but against a Mirana, you never want to be able to give these pulls off for free, or alternatively, even if Lon is able to disrupt it, you've got the arrow. You want to go for the kill potential, but taking one of these large creeps is fine too.
Yeah, and I feel like this lane's just going to continue getting a bit more difficult though. Like, if Long gets caught out, he's going to be... I mean, PA is not really going to do much to protect you, so maybe like if you get a rotation for the Rubik if they dive too far, but I don't know. If you give a kill over like that super early on, then we see the PA is not really going to be able to go up and actually see us under tower.
And we're just seeing here in the mid lane, so Mang Dyer, he's going for the skill build that I was expecting, just the 1 point in the Gush. Once you get at least 2 points, Soaring goes down. Once you get more than 1 point into the Flame Guard, it's enough that a Gush isn't really going to do much about anything. Like, it's enough resist that you're just going to be able to withstand through it. So it doesn't make much sense to put more
Young
than
PH.
1 value point in.
I think he might be dead, but again, he doesn't have a point in Phantom Strike, so he couldn't jump away. Lon just in the nick of time. That Fate's Edict was enough. Couple of disarms there to force him not be able to get that extra right click damage, but he's continuing to see, man, they are not allowing him to CS for free.
I suppose, but he's still got a fair few CS.
Surprisingly, yeah.
Yeah, he's been able to do really well. I suppose the double-edged sword for this mid lane as well is that, you've got the Flame Guard to be able to dish out a bit of harass damage, but if you're moving close enough to get the damage in onto this Tide Hunter, he's just going to anchor smash you every single time. And Flame Guard doesn't reduce that at all. Oh, gets the arrow off as well.
I guess no one was in range to dodge it with the slide, and she's just going to pay the price there. Just runs straight into it, and Mirana securing the regen here for Mang Dyer. He's got to love that. Also finding a kill. How would you skill build? Are you fine with the Sand King going 2-1-1, or do you think in a matchup against the PA you could get away with 2 points in Caustic?
I think the 1 point in the Sandstorm is fine, and you always just want to enable this kill potential with the increased cast range from the Burrow Strike. Some more burst damage is always great against an Oracle, right? A lot of his save is a little bit more gradual.
Yeah, I was just intrigued if he put an extra point in the Caustic just for against the Young PH Phantom Assassin. We always see the Burrow Strike has to be maxed out just because of back to the cast range. It's a big issue with the Sand King early.
Yeah, but you can see what this enables, right? He's just able to deny this creep wave. You don't really care all that much. Oracle needs to stay here to try and contest that, and that just enables Lon to walk out, get a free bounty rune.
I take a decent amount of damage here as well. Wommy, Burrow Strike, arrow setup, time and time again. If you're going to get caught out to the combo here, you'll pay the price, as it's already a killing spree for the Mirana. no real surprise there. It's like it's already been foretold in previous games on how this combo is able to play.
Let's see what item build he's going to opt to go for. He's just got the Boots of Speed queued up. I mean, if you've got all of this kill potential, we've seen a lot of Miranas before. They go the Urn, but they go the Urn when in these lanes that don't actually have a lot of kill potential. But in the ones that do have a lot of kill potential and go the Urn, you end up getting like 5+ stacks at the 10-minute mark, and you're more than happy with that. It's just so much extra damage super early on into the game. Look at how he's forced to try and go for this farm. Just try and kite around, move away from the Tide Hunter, but he's naturally fast. I mean, he's already got the boots as well, so more movement speed. Oh, he even has to go past the double damage rune that spawned on the bottom side of the river, so Lim's going to be able to secure that for the Tide.
And that's what, he got a regen now and a DD, so both times refilling the bottle here. Top lane, Zareen getting chased down, Skill A trying to 1v1 versus you, but this might not work out considering ET has to pop the Fairy Fire. He's got the movement speed as well to chase down Skill A, might have to pop the self. ET doesn't do so. He'll still get the kill before he dies, however.
He'll take that, the experience, the free trip back to base, and he already picked up his boots as well, so he spent all the gold that was needed. He's only got reliable gold left. Oh, some more lag. Unfortunate, but they are able to get their first kill on Yangon's side. But this is what I was really worried about, and honestly, I feel like the fact that you only just picked up his first death there at the 6.5-minute mark, that's a really big plus for them. Ricky's a fair way behind in the last hits, though. That's something that I didn't quite see. DB, he's been having a little bit more of a rough time. Maybe Zorain and Skill A have just been working on zoning them out a little bit here, but yeah, a little bit unexpected. I just love watching Mid-Tide. These unorthodox heroes, like, remember when Mid-Shaker was a thing? It was great.
Yeah, Mid-Shaker against some of the melee matchups was definitely something to watch. Trying to think, we haven't seen it for a while, have we?
Nope.
Been a bit out of the meta, honestly. Wonder when that's going to come back. Wonder when we're going to see the good old shard kind of hit. What do you reckon they could do to nerf the shard in a way where it doesn't completely destroy the like Earthshaker? Like, yeah, what do they have to do to nerf him?
I think you need to at least be touching your Fisher for the extra stuns to go off. I think that would be a little bit more balanced, because right now you can just blink to anywhere else in the team fight and enchant Totem or Echo Slam, and the Fisher stun still happens, the Aftershock, which is a little nuts to me. It just doesn't make sense logically, like lore-wise as well, right? I think that's pretty balanced, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I'd say it's definitely a good start. See how much they want to put him in the ground, though. I've wondered when we're going to see some more heroes. Like, I feel like there hasn't been too many innovations with the shards so far. Like, I feel like the Earthshaker is the big one. Can you think of any others that we've really seen that's... I'm trying to think. I mean...
Like, drafts completely based around a shard.
Well, what just like heroes now? Because Earthshaker wasn't getting played a lot before the shard, and now he's busted. Like, I'm trying to think of some other heroes that have been getting played a decent amount because of it. I think Coddle's
maybe Wraith King a little.
Wraith King.
I think a big part of that is his guaranteed crit now, just with his lifesteal. It enables you to be so much more sustainable in lane. Maybe Shadow Shaman a little bit.
Denied.
That's true, actually, yeah. I think, yeah, Shaman's definitely another one.
Radiant are scanning.
Man, look, Mangdai can just fall back and take a fat stack. He's got a jelly, possess mask. He's getting all the neutral items from that stack. That's such an important thing. Making sure you save your stacks till after the 7-minute mark, just increasing the probability. He got all 4 of them, and there's some good ones too.
Real nice to have. He's just going to keep the possess mask. Man, he doesn't even need to go for a mask of death now into a Vlad's. Like, he can just be pure damage oriented. He's still going to do so just for when the next tier of items comes up, and stands right next to the rune. Doesn't want to get anchor smashed again, but it just means that he's wasting time. A few of these creeps just went down underneath his tower, so the net worth differential is just going to keep growing and growing from a Mangdaya.
Jesus, and they've got more stacks as well. He's going to have such a fast Vlad's, and it's just going to mean that the Tide can group up at an incredibly fast rate, where Yangon, unless they... I don't know, are you worried that they're not going to have the damage from when the Tide now groups up with the team?
Tower is under attack.
Short answer, yes. I am very worried for them because, you know, even now they're splitting up their farm really nicely. Lim, he comes forward, makes sure none of that experience is just automatically lost underneath the tower, and by taking it so quickly, you're just allowing more stacks to spawn. It's really nice play coming out, and look, even Wami, he's coming mid lane as well. They're realizing that there's a lot of kill potential here. He's actually maxed out the Sandstorm. I'm not sure how I feel about that.
Yeah.
I think the 1 point was fine, but maybe just a little concerned and maybe just wanting the consistent bullying against the PA, considering he was getting a decent amount of farm. But you know, young PH, wisely enough, he just TPs up to the top side, tries to start farming a little bit here. They're going for a kill onto someone, whoever they can find. Found K, or sorry, you, but it's a lot committing just for a position 5. At least young PH is able to get the last hit though.
I mean, they got to be careful as well, because if Dire get this tower at a quick succession down bot, they can definitely go up top and defend it now with the arena on cooldown. I mean, Mumeng Dire's TP's down for another 25, but if they can stall it out till then I feel like Army Genius can definitely trade bot and also defend top. You see they're doing that. Ricky's trying to clear it, they drop the glyph, and I really like this play from Army Genius if they're going to do just that.
Even just shoving in the bottom lane, so making them make a decision, right? Are you going to try and go for this tower in a team fight without all your abilities, or are you going to actually rotate back and defend? I mean, Lord, he was just standing underneath that tier 1 tower trying to soak any experience that he could, but he ends up being the one TPing back to this, and I think you cannot fight without your Oracle at this point. I mean, he doesn't even have his ultimate yet.
He's just, please give me some experience, I need it. It's, you know, still it's 10 minutes in, so he should honestly support getting it before this timing. You say he was having a pretty good time throughout the early game. Wami got the invis, and well, they find the Phantom Assassin. There's going to be an immense amount of damage. The Veil combined up, even the ET claiming the kill with the Echo Stomp.
Just steals the level 1 Starstorm, not what you want as Rubik's. Basically not even worth the mana cost when it's that low.
I wouldn't mind them going mid. They've got a catapult. You've got the Tide who's got the Vlad's about to come out on the tower. You've got Glyph as well. This is definitely a time where Army Geniuses should be putting pressure on the map. There we go. They're going to do just that with the wraparound. They'll find another target just to squish the Oracle. Mumeng Dai is going to be the one to claim. But down with the beautiful Echo Stomp actually disrupts Mars to be able to follow up with the arena. So completely wasted here from Radiant. They do still have the vision on top of the Sand King on the back thanks to the Sentry. But Mumeng Dai is going to chuck up the Ravage, controlling up 3 with the Bot Strike follow up as well. They are able to secure the kill on the Sand King. They got to be careful because Skillay with this Sandstorm, it's maxed out. It's doing a lot of damage if they continue diving deep. But they'll retreat and find the Ember Spirit. Very big fight for Army.
Having a rough time for sure. I mean, Skillay, again, his Rubik, he's able to put in a lot of work. They're lacking a little bit of detection, sure. And they eventually put it down. Skillay is trying his best to try and get rid of the Sentry Ward. He will, with the assistance coming through from Lund. But this feels like a one-man show just trying to defend against this all-out push coming from Army Geniuses. I think they've got enough to actually finish up this Vlad's now. Mumeng's just tunnel visioning in onto this tower, but to be able to have that would enable the rest of your team to join in the fight as well. Yeah, he finally buys it. It's coming out to him now. Oh, even the regen.
Another one, man. I mean, I guess the shining spot for Radiant is that Young PH is actually getting a decent amount of farm. His second in net worth. He's already got the broadsword along with the Claymore and now working on the Perseverance. And you see they've done a relatively good job to control their own triangle with this Lun prioritizing a couple of sentries here just to keep that area in control.
Looks like they're positioning themselves to try and make a play for young PH here on his PA, but he's positioning himself pretty well. Just wanting to get as many last hits as he can. He's got enough now to buy at least the Ring of Health if he wanted to. Getting close to that Battle Fury. Not a horrible timing, to be honest, considering he has the Power Treads as well as a Wraith Band. It's not a naked Battle Fury by any means.
Honestly, doing pretty good so far. But I would not be surprised if we see Dire smoke. I mean, Ravage, 45 seconds, so maybe they might wait 20 seconds and then smoke, but you just got the blink on Wami, now coming out on the Courier. Well, how's the Ricky actually going at the moment? He's also farming relatively well, just needs the Claymore and the Void Stone as well. So he's not too far behind.
He's definitely recovered. And I feel like this Orb of Corrosion, with the amount of targets that it's going to be hitting, of course, with the slow, the minus armor, if Tide does opt to go for the Desolator, which looks like is the case, it's a fair amount of minus armor stacked up with the Gush.
Uh-oh.
Elder Titan being nearby. Have they found him
Up
again?
top. Yep, Young PH, nice TPs, but he's unable to disengage it. Lum still finding that last right click. Wom is in trouble, but now with the beautiful Echo Something's drop, this is going to try and charge up the ultimate. Has to find the Forest Strike, but onto 2. They get the Force Promise off. It's going to keep Skill A alive for a little while longer, but it means that Oracle is now vulnerable to you. He's able to dive under the tower, and Skill A still pops as well as Wommy finds a double. That's 4 down across the map here as Army Geniuses continue to snowball this game 1.
And you didn't even need the Tide. He just shows up at the end saying, oh, thank you, Creep Wave, I'll take that. I'll take a little bit of experience. And yeah, this tower, it doesn't exist anymore.
Well, now this is a big tower to be able to control your own triangle camp as well now. So we could see Lum. It doesn't have any sentries or observers, but we see, I mean, this Mirana 5, 0, and 6. Like, this could be a completely different scoreboard if they did not have the Sand King paired up with the Mirana. And they're going to take a stack away as well. Look at this. They've got Ravage, so they can fight. If Dire come over, they do have to be careful because they don't have the numbers at the moment, but they're going to blink on forward once again. The combo coming through, and Mars, he just oversteps the mark. He's going to get brought down. They chuck the Ravage as well. It does get stolen here, so they're going to be careful how far they chase, but the damage is just lacking so drastically at the moment for Yangon. Another stun follow-up on Hor. He's in trouble here. He's actually going to chuck the double remnant out now with the stolen Ravage. Enables them to skew with a kill on top of the Mirana, but Hor, he's utilized all his mobility here just to be able to bring down the Mirana, so Ring Around the Rosie is the only hope he has, but he'll pay the price. Main Dire is not done just yet. He wants an ultra kill. Do they ever cancel? They don't. Burrow on cooldown, Echo Stomp on cooldown as well, but Army Geniuses putting Yangon in the grave here in this game 1.
And the thing I'm most happy about, he's nearly finished up that Desolator. What's queued up next? He's got the Ag Shard. So there's absolutely nothing that's going to be able to stop them from pushing these towers. You know, probably only the Rubik getting something like the Sandstorm again is their only hope. And even then, it's a really risky proposition.
And with all that, I mean, Ricky was able to pick up the Battle Fury at pretty much the same timing. And I mean, we're just going to see that Ricky is going to have so much more of the map to farm compared to the PA. And DB is going to get an item before Ricky, before I should say PA. And this is just going to mean it's another game where we're really seeing Zarain struggle as well.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen some pretty standout performances on his Puck, for example, but yeah, I mean, just having a look at his level, he only just hit level 8. You compare that to a Sand King, he's almost level 12. In that encounter, it was a level 14 Tide against a level 7 Mars. It never feels good to be at that kind of disadvantage, and he was just a non-factor. Now, Mirana, she's going into the Yules. I don't know if you need that. I feel like you've got enough initiation now with the Blink. You've obviously got the Ravage as well on top of that. I feel like Yu's been on point with his Echo Stomps. I feel like you just need to go over the Vessel, right? You're in a dominant position in the game. You're going to have a lot of charges. It's great against an Oracle. It's great against a Strength Hero like the Mars that wants to be tanking up a lot of damage. It gets rid of the Flame Guard nice and quickly as well for the Ember Spirit, who honestly feels like food. So I'd be going the Vessel if I was Lim right now.
See, it does give him at least some protection from the PA and the Ember as the game's going to continue on. But yeah, I agree. I feel like you've got the controller ready for not having to utilize it at the aggressive factor. And we just see the sweeping movement that Army Geniuses are constantly putting on top of the map. And Wommy, well, the smoke popped here, so they know where Young PH is. And he's going to run straight into the Sand King. Arrow flies, and man, this damage with the combo is through the roof right now. Time and time again, just pickoffs across the map. And honestly, just have to praise how these two heroes have been playing for Army Geniuses.
Has been denied.
Oh yeah. They're just doing it really well. Turns out when you draft well for the laning stage, you've got a real easy time once it comes the mid game. You know, what could this Ember Spirit really do against the Tide Hunter? That's why I was feeling a little questionable about that. Like, they had last pick. This was a last pick Ember Spirit. What could have been better? Monkey King, perhaps? So you can at least contest against a Tide Hunter at a decent range. Juke out some of the Anchor Smashers with the Mischief.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he has to go first line and B get B. It feels like now the only way Or can find any CS, he has to just farm aggressively. But going for this...
Sure, but Anchor Smash and Ricky is still going to kill you.
Yeah, I mean... It's a... Well, you? A lot of damage here. Hall with that DD. Speed brings him down as well, but Main Guy is coming over. He's got the Desert, he's got the Ravage as well. The Chuck with the False Promise at the start of the fight, but the Tide, he doesn't give a damn. Already with that ultimate on cooldown for the Oracle, he knows he can just brute force down the Mars. Dorain's able to keep his life. Main Guy still chucks out the Ravage here. It's solo. It does get solo once again, so it's a 1-for-1 to start the fight. The Sand King has to disengage with the Burrow Strike, but DB is going to show up finally. Finds a kill on top of Skill Lane. Now they want Lon as well. Man, look at the damage. DB level 15. That extra help coming through from the Talon. And
they scouted out PA as well. They're instantly making the rotation through. That's a freshly picked up Yule Scepter as well. So I'm not sure if they actually saw that on Yangon's side. Wisely enough, though, I'm liking Young PH's movements. You know, say what you want about, you know, perhaps a few spellcasting in fights, but he got a lot out of the lane, and he's being able to avoid a lot of these kill attempts. There's only so much that you can do, though, when every lane felt like a pretty big loss.
Yep. Yeah, now, I mean, they might take one more fight and then go into Roche. I mean, they don't have the Ravage now available for them, so might not feel too happy about yeah, I mean, do they even care, honestly? It looks like they don't. They just walk in. You got the Tide to tank, freely allows DB to hit from behind, and he's super close to an Aghanims as well.
Yeah. That's the timing. You get Roche, you get your Ags, you get your Ag Shard on the Tide Hunter. Not only just, of course, for being able to siege, but just the extra 1 second of cooldown reduction for the Anchor Smash. I mean, when you've gone this right-click build, it's pretty damn deadly.
Do you... I know they gave the Aegis to DB, but would you rather them give the Aegis to the Tide because he's going to be the one ultimately high ground sieging here?
I feel like he's just not going to die.
Sure. Yeah, that's what I'm like. I feel like Tide probably not going to die, but then again, a lot of times you do want to give the Aegis to the high ground sieger.
Maybe just enabling the Riki to dive in onto the backlines, maybe get the Oracle with that burst damage.
Yeah, because that's the thing, like, they don't have this Spirit hero to deal with Lon, you know, Tide being that beefy hero, so, you know, it's now up to the Riki to play that role as well. Young PH, and along with Lon, they're just going to get caught out, up on the high ground. Oracle brought down along with the Phantom Assassin. That's a messy spot to be for Yangon. They might just be able to get in range here thanks to Hor, but still, they're coming over. Now, Hor's going to be careful, kid. He doesn't have too much mana himself, so just has to look at him go. I mean, now he's stunned up with the Burrow. He's got a BKB, but where do you run to from the Ember Spirit? Has to pop it, but that's super defensive. Will attempt to TP out if they got the damage. They don't, but man, that feels rough when PA still dies, and then you have to pop your 10-second BKB.
Yeah. Have to pop that. I mean, I like the fact that you might think, well, if you're going to go into this Ag Shard build on the Tide Hunter, which I believe he's got coming out to him. Yeah, it's just about to reach him now. He didn't go the minus 20% Anchor Smash damage reduction talent, but I don't think you really care. I think you just want to be able to do that burst damage through onto the Ember Spirit, especially to be able to remove that Flame Guard as quickly as possible.
Look at this. Meanwhile, they're taking mid and bot.
I mean, look at the tower. Like, they're like, oh, you're going to fortify? Looks like the tower just doesn't do any damage to our creep wave anyway. They're all going to survive through it. Minus 106 damage, I think it is, to a tier 2 and 3 tower.
Jesus.
And again, that is untalented. It would be more if he went the levels 15 minus 20% Anchor Smash damage reduction.
Nice scan.
It's additive.
Sorry, gotta be careful here. I mean, it's just the ET coming down with the rotation. I guess if he gets quick enough with the astral position, yeah, Zarian should be out of there. I was gonna say they preemptively scanned in the lane, thinking that someone was trying to shove that out, but too slow there. They find Young PH, so they're gonna blink up straight away. Blim, he's straight on top of the PA, so won't get too long of a stun thanks to the arrow, but it doesn't matter. The main Dyer even has the Imp Claw as well to just add extra to that physical damage. This is a beatdown.
I mean, that was basically just one Anchor Smash, right, that he did in that team fight against the, I don't really want to call it a team fight, in that pick off against the PA, and he did essentially 1,000 damage.
They're even trying for Hor. This is a bit more of a...
Your place.
Kraken Shell plus Anchor Smash with Shard, you barely take any damage. Yeah, see, that's what I was talking about before, right? In the draft stage, they try and go for the pick off onto DB. He's got the Aegis, so it didn't really matter in the big scheme of things. But unless it's the Ember Spirit that's actually starting these fights and locking him down, you're just going to be able to get away.
It just feels like it's a slow bleed here for Yangon. Not much they've really been able to do so far. Very reactionary this game one from them, and it's just, you know, PA still, when you have to go for a second item BKB, you already know this game's pretty rough in that scenario. It's, you're always wanting that second item, Deso, a second, you know, item to be damage-wise, but unfortunately this game, if you go Deso, then there's absolutely no chance you're able to get a BKB before this game ends. So the only opportunity they have, honestly, wouldn't be surprised if we see them smoke up once he picks it. It looks like they have already starting to make a movement down though, but PA's going to be careful.
Remember, you've got just the one leak charge they've been able to find.
Even diving, Radiant, they are here, but they just burst the Sand King underneath the tower, so a little bit too deep from Wami. That's a disadvantage they have in the numbers, but let's see if Army Genius still want to find Hank Dyer, the Ravage. Look at that. 1 to 3. Rubik will fall. Ricky's still going to be careful as well, but he's got the Aegis, so it doesn't matter. This extra life potential. We see DB just playing around with their food here. Zareen finds the Spirits, end up ticking down, but it doesn't matter as Yangon lose 3. Horde, they disrupt also the Remnant. Let's see if they can find the connection off the Yules. They do. Limb point blank with the arrow. Finds 4, and that's all set up thanks to the Ravage. Mame Dyer has been on point so far with the Tide.
Oh, he's even going into the Scepter as well, so he wants the Gush, the lane Gush, and you know, why not? Everything was done to make sure that PH was able to survive, but I mean, if it costs 4 and it costs you a lane of Rax, is it really worth it? Probably say no.
Did you just call it here?
Right before that fight broke out, I was like, well, Dota Plus said 98%. I would have said 100% at that point. Yes, you've got a PA. Yes, you've always got the insane lucky crit potential. It just felt like it's not possible with how ahead this Tidehunter is.
Well, this might be their only chance. Yeah, Ravage is on cooldown, but when you miss abilities like that, it's going to make it very difficult for you to have any opportunity.
Yep, you miss abilities. Now you've got, I believe, all 4 bounties are going to go Army Genius's way. They're going to get their next set of items coming out. I think it's a Drum of Endurance as well that Elder Titan's going to have, so Tide's just going to be enabled even more. You've got the Ag Scepter now on the Tide, and that was just when you picked up your BKB on the PA. So if they were able to land that spear, maybe they get a kill. Maybe they're able to come back into things, but now, not so much.
You see them smoking out, but Dyer were able to scout that with their very deep observe ward in the base, so they're well aware this is happening. The scan does get connected. Good
positioning.
Yeah, Lim, look at that spot. Pops it here. Lorraine's going to try and blink up. Remember, he doesn't have the ultimate. Up the counter behind him. Whoa, the damage. Oh, man, Army Genius just shred them apart. That's been the story of this game. Young PH, that's your 10-second BKB where you try and disengage. And now they have to call it. Army Geniuses, man, they wiped the floor.
Yeah, it was not close. I was like, look, I appreciate the fact that they're going for one last hurrah. You know, you've got the BKB. Let's make a play for it. Doesn't even need to Ravage. He just blinks in with the stun combination, deletes the entire team. I don't know if we even saw the Gush that time as well, the Ag's Gush, but it's enough. This is why I love the Tidehunter in a more farm-oriented core position rather than just, you know, your team fighter. Build your draft around it. It works. The Ag Shard is insanely strong, and there's nothing the enemy team can do about it.
Surely we see Tide again in next game. Why not?
I want to.
Yeah, I want to as well. I mean, it's just such a fun hero to watch as a core. Like, it can just absolutely dominate like that game.
Easy game.
Easy game indeed here for Army Geniuses. Just an incredible performance from them from lane to early game to mid game. They just sweep this game one, honestly winning pretty single-handedly here. What was the score? It was 35-8, a 26-minute victory. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a short break here, and we'll see if Yangon, how they're going to be able to come back, because they are, you know, a difficult game one. They're going to have to try and regroup, and hopefully the second draft is at least some way to be able to set themselves up for victory in game 2. But we'll take a short break with game 2 right around the corner.
Vengeance is my mistress.
Dripping venom, I arrive.
Prepare for battle.
Go for me. My venom flows.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Game 2 between Yangon Galacticos and Army Geniuses. And after a incredible Game 1 from the boys over on Army Geniuses, looking to see if they're going to end up sweeping the series. We got another beautiful background once again from Denog. Just, you know, it's a classic. And honestly, chat doesn't get too happy when they see the cream background. It's if they don't have at least the green screen, they start rioting.
They do, and perfectly understandable. You know, you gotta know what you love. Again, Army Geniuses, just go with the Shaker. Why not? Seems like a perfectly fine hero to start out a draft with. You got to make sure you pair it together with a strong laner though, because you know you're able to creep manipulate. I suppose you've got some decent movement speed. You generally go the boots so you can lane cut and that sort of thing, but you're still going to have a roughish time if they try and get super aggressive on you. And Yangon, they thought, look, Skille, we thought you did pretty well. You stole a few Ravagers, didn't really work out in the end, but you did your job.
Yeah, they banned the Earthshaker last game, so switching the priority and banning out the Mirana now leaves the Earthshaker free. We see that they're prioritizing the Rubik though, which, you know, I wonder if they still go into Clockwork potential 5. Do you think it's an option here that Yangon can go, or is that a little bit worrisome if you go for your support duo too early?
Ember Spirit.
Putting a lot of faith in Hor, that's for sure, after the game that he had, but I think it was very matchup dependent, that one. I think he is a good enough Ember Spirit. It was a drafting error to be able to pick that into what was essentially a really obvious mid-tide hunter. Clockwork, I think it's a good hero in this sort of lineup, but the issue is it Lun's style? Probably not. You know, his style is much more of the, you know, we saw him try and play Oracle that time around, didn't work. He's got a really good Phoenix, but that's been banned out. Pango, the Pango ban, I'm a little not questioning, but I just don't know if it's exactly what Yangon would have gone for. And they're actually banning out the Oracle themselves, so
10 seconds remaining.
maybe it is the Clockwork that they're trying to go. You know, just some really aggressive ways to get it onto the backline.
Yeah, we already see they've got one great way to deal with the Earthshaker. I'd say Fissure's probably the best ability you can steal for a Rubik, and even if you get the Aghanim Shard on the Rubik as well, then you're able to utilize the Earthshaker Shard. So if you cast Fissure and then Fade Bolt from afar, you're going to get that Aftershock effect, which is
so stupid.
Pretty, yeah, stupid's definitely one way to put it.
And the cast range, right? Like, just from Arcane Supremacy, it's nuts.
And you're already someone who likes to pick up the 8th lens, and you've got that, cast range talents at 15, right?
Yeah, and you've also got the potential, like, it's more likely to get a cast range item now as well, since Psychic Headband's in the game. So, life's good for Rubik players, that's for sure.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
So what's going to come back? Like, they haven't changed up anything in terms of who they've actually drafted so far on Yangon's side. The bans, yes, you know, they don't want to go up against this Mirana Sand King combo. Perfectly understandable. It felt like, you know, PH was always in risk. And okay, yeah, I was about to say, like, when they picked the Rubik, I was like, okay, that's good for Skille. And then they responded with a Mars, which, you know, is good. But I felt like they needed something to get it onto that Earthshaker, whether it would be the Clockwork or not. And the thing that I was kind of tossing up in my head about all of these different 4s that are able to do that sort of thing in disrupting the backline, you think, who are they? You got the Spirit Breaker, you got the Tusk, you got the Clockwork, you got the Earth Spirit. Those are the main 4. Earth Spirit is the only one that can very reliably get out of the arena. Your roll goes through arena, so you're actually not disrupted by that in the middle of a team fight. So I'm kind of liking the fact that Yangon have gone back for this and said, look, Skille, we'll just pick you one of your other heroes. You're going to play the Earth Spirit, and Rubik is going to be Lun's position 5.
Radiant team pick.
At least they've got a way to be able to deal with it, and they even pick up the Willow here for Army Geniuses. So is this a 5 Willow then?
Could be, but I don't know how strongly I feel about a 5 Willow.
Same.
I feel like you need to be a little bit more greedy. You need to be able to go for a lot more of this solo pick-off potential. You're stronger.
10 seconds remaining.
With the, I mean, it's strong with the Mars in the position 4 role, and it's strong with the Mars in general. Like the Terrorize combined with Arena of Blood is an insane amount of damage. They already removed the puck on Yangon's side, so you're not going to see any Dream Coils getting snapped because of it. But it's still a lot of damage that you're able to dish out super early on.
Yeah, I'm intrigued about this support duo, honestly. I mean, we're going to see the Rubik now get pushed to a 5, and we're going to see either the Earthshaker or Willow as a 5. I think more than likely it's going to be a Willow 5, but it feels like they have... The Earthshaker support can be pretty nice in the way that you can manipulate the creep wave with the fissure block, so it can help out the Mars in that factor, but it is still not the strongest in a battle in the laning stage. And the Willow as well is a hero who's not going to be too strong as a laning support. And well, they've got a lot of issues to deal with the waves here, and you see it's a great Furion pick.
I think that they're going to go for a ranged hero like a Drow, for example, on Army Geniuses, just because they've gotten rid of the Arc Warden. You've got the Mars on your team already. You've got the Arena of Blood, which, you know, not only can they not block pick it to basically make ranged heroes terrible, but you've got a lot of a safety net, I suppose. Earth Spirit needs to be able to choose either yourself or Earthshaker to go on. You can't get both in the same sort of situation. And then on top of that, in the laning stage, you've also got... like, ranged heroes are very vulnerable to being gone on, but if you run a 5 Earthshaker, then, you know, you might not necessarily be great at just contesting up in the lane, but you're going to be able to stop them from just going in onto you. Fissure is great at just being able to disrupt a lot of these dives that might be going a little bit too deep, and that's definitely the Yangon style. It's just diving in super deep.
Well, I like the Monkey King pick, though, I should say. It gives him a strong matchup versus the Ember, which I think is more than likely what they're going to do here, because I don't think you want the Monkey King going versus the Furion in that lane. So you're going to have a nice combo to play with, and it's also with you already. Take a look at the AoE control that Army Geniuses have. It's going to really enable this Monkey King ultimate.
Are they going to Terrorblade on Army Geniuses? You've got the Mars, so that's another way to just pummel people into the Arena of Blood. It's a good way to stop, like, once you pick up that Ags, if, let's say, an Earth Spirit gets in onto the Earthshaker, you just push him away, give him a little bit of space to actually get into a safe position and block things off. And, I mean, it's not amazing wave clear, that's my only downside. You know, you're never really building things like a Maelstrom or that kind of stuff on a TB. It's much more likely to be the Drow who eventually goes into, let's say, the Ag Scepter for the split shot damage to maybe deal with the split push.
I'd be worried that if they lose the lane slightly, then he might get run over pretty heavily. Because I'm still worried about this Willow Earthshaker support duo. I feel like if they don't get off and running Army Geniuses, then these two supports are going to need some levels, and without it, they can't make too many plays. And so I think now Mars has to have a really strong time. The Monkey has to win his lane. Because Yangon, you're gonna have an Ember who's going to be a big threat early on. The Furion's going to push down towers. Earth Spirit's damage. They do still ban out the Terrorblade, though.
Yeah, I think it was kind of telegraphed a little bit by the heroes that they were getting rid of, right? Like, Ursa, yes, you're a melee hero and you need to really get in on top of the enemy team to do a lot of your damage, but you've got the Enrage to be able to, you know, shrug off a lot of that and close the gap. And the Queen of Pain, of course, able to dish out so much magic damage super early on into the game, where, you know, TB, you might have a ton of armor, but your HP pool is basically hot trash. So I think that's a really good ban to come out from both teams, to be honest. I'd still... Would I go into the Drow? I'm feeling less optimistic about it, but just the fact that you've got another agility core with you makes that marksmanship even stronger. And, you know, they've got a lot of area control right now on Army Geniuses. Fissure, Arena of Blood, Terrorize, like, it's a crazy amount.
And that's a nice thing as well. It's going to make it very difficult for them to get on top of you then, with all this crowd control and posture pretty safely. They're going to OD. It is a great... I like OD a lot as a core versus the Ember. But I thought you were going to put the Monkey King in that matchup. I
think both is fine. I think we saw that Mamang Daya was very capable of winning any sort of mid matchups if you give him any kind of favorable one. And like you said before, OD against Ember Spirit, once you hit level 7 or so, it's basically a guaranteed kill. Like, you should probably be getting that your Meteor Hammer around the 6 or 7 minute mark. As long as you've got that Sanity's Eclipse, you can 100 to 0 any single hero on the map, even an Ember Spirit. You just got to make sure he doesn't get that that Flame Guard off.
Well, what's the call here for Yangon? Gonna have to be BKB builder, no doubt.
Juggernaut. I don't know. I'm just throwing a name out here.
Go
I'll
on
be
something.
real.
You may as well chuck something out. See, you get a riot, then some style points. I see what they need. I mean, you.
Invoker.
Choose your hero.
1 Ember. All right. Huh.
Are
How am I feeling
we.
about this?
Yeah, we fan of this, or because that's
The 5
not
Willow.
how I thought this was going.
I mean, I think they were just realizing that this mid matchup is just so god awful that they need to do something to fix it. And Invoker, it's all right against the OD. You know, you can contest at range, you can disrupt a lot of what they're trying to do with the astral combos, which is great. They were lacking. They weren't really lacking any sort of interrupt, but Invoker is just going to enable that even more. I'm just thinking, now that this mid matchup isn't completely one-sided, how does that affect the side lanes is what I'm considering right now. Ember Spirit Rubik, not insanely strong, but it means that this Earthshaker isn't really as concerned, right? You've got this position 4 Shaker, it's not the 5, but you don't really care all that much because there's not a huge amount of kill potential now on this top side. And you've also got the Fisher into the Spear combo. Like, you talk about these guaranteed combos that young PH as well as Lon had to deal with in game 1. They're basically back for game 2.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I believe this is our first Invoker, at least that we're seeing so far through the lower division. So a hero that has not been too hotly contested, to say the least. But they weren't backing Hor's Ember Spirit. Struggled in that first game, and like, you know, this second game we're ain't gonna back you, brother. We'll put you on the Invoker. See how that one's gonna end up faring. I mean, at least going, you know, into this, it's gonna be up against Mermaid Guy's OD. And he's also gone into the Exort, so I'm intrigued to see. Are you a fan of him going Exort? Is this because I feel like Exort's super strong when you've got ways to be able to set up for the stuns, and they don't really have that.
Yeah, I mean, not in laning stage for sure, but you're going to be able to do it with the Ember Spirit eventually. Let's see how aggressive Zorain wants to be as well with his global teleports. Saw before, you know, we were talking about all these different EU series. I mean, Seb has he basically nearly TP'd into the fountain in one game that they were playing against, I want to say Viking, yeah, but it was optimistic. I mean, there aren't too many better offlaners in the world than Seb right now.
No, definitely not.
Zorain's able to match it. Just play like Seb, you know.
30 seconds to battle.
That's a good motto to go by. Creep monkey. Okay. He didn't want to jump out of the courier. He's like, no, I'll let the OD get the creep. A little bit of experience for them.
See, now, let's see if he goes for the play where he just actually invades the base and gets some of these couriers, at least the ODs, that's sitting a little bit too aggressively. I think he might. Like, towers do not hit you when you're in this form. Why not?
The battle begins.
Do
Why not?
it.
Surely. A bit late now, unfortunately. Like, no.
Do it.
Did I hear a
Cool courier, though. Find it. Chilling out. Little mummy with a couple balloons. Interesting concept.
Speaking of interesting concepts, thoughts on the recent Netflix announcement?
What was the recent Netflix announcement?
Oh, you didn't
Like, hang on, I
see?
saw something about anime, but like, is this what we're talking
There
about
is
here?
a Dota anime coming out, or like,
Interesting.
well, anime or like Avatar: The Last Airbender sort of style, like Western anime kind of thing.
Western anime. That's
Starring Dragon Knight.
starring Dragon Knight. Guess I got to look into it more. It's gonna be that's gonna be interesting. Wow.
Yeah. If you look it on the client on the home screen to the right, there's a little thing that shows you like it was announced today. Then there's going to be a teaser trailer in, I think, towards the end of this week, and then there's going to be the actual trailer in a few weeks, and then it's being released for real on March 25th, I think.
Have they given any information on like how many episodes and how they're structuring it?
Don't think so. I think it was just the announcement and everyone was like, lore! We get Dota lore, we get advertising,
go.
please Valve, new player experience.
Yeah, that I just like I've been saying new player experience for ages, and they're like, nah, we ain't gonna do that. Check
Since
out
October 2019.
check out, you know, a new goddamn anime. We'll check out some new UI, which I think is also awesome though for esports, but yeah, definitely need that new player experience to be boosted up a little bit. With
Lane's pretty passive so far. I mean, Skille, they tried to go for a kill attempt on him, but he just rolls away from the cursed crown. I wonder if Yu's gonna go again. Willow. It's weird. Like if you play it in this position 5 role, then perhaps you might be a little bit more inclined to go into the Ag Shard. I feel like Willow is another one of those heroes that has been enabled a lot more by the Shard, just because nothing that you do can stop those brambles from spawning. Like even if you dispel it or BKB it, they still spawn around the person.
You understand that, right?
yeah, it's definitely an interesting way that the Willow is able to play with this. If you try and go for that early shot at a decent rate. Are there any lanes that we really should be expecting maybe First Blood to come through with how passive they've been so far?
I'd say top. You know, you're not going to be in as risky of a position as this Nature's Prophet against a Monkey King, of course, ranged against melee. But I feel like they're still going to be attempting perhaps some engagements on Skille or against Skille. And yeah, you can just see he's just trying to get out a lot of these spells, burn the mana away. Maybe snipe some careers, that'd be nice. Will we be able to see this one coming through from the Willow? These monkeys going away.
Young
And he sees
Peach?
Willow's coming.
That should be our First Blood down bot now. As telekinesis from Lon finds a double stun, although Wami still has some mana thanks to the Mango getting popped there, so he's able to find First Blood down bot. This is a better start to what we saw the Mars have in our last game.
And that wasn't even with the Fisher Spear combo, I don't believe, right?
No, it wasn't.
That was
They just
just
chased him
a
down
slow
for a little
burn.
bit. Yeah.
This is our
What's your opinion on Ember side lane? It feels like we only really see some players do it. You know, Anna, one of the best to say the least. There's not many players right now who feel super confident with playing this Ember in the side lane. Is there a reason why?
I feel like now more than ever, with like only a couple of exceptions, let's say like last game with the Tide Hunter or more traditionally with heroes like the TA, your mid lane isn't the one that's actually the win condition to win you the game. You know, it's all on these side lanes to be able to make it happen. And with an Ember Spirit, sure, you might be able to get a bunch of kills, but you don't actually transition that into any sorts of towers. So this time around, Yangon, they're going to be leaning very heavily on Zorain to do a lot of their objective taking.
Well, and he's had a relatively good lane so far. 14 last hits. Is bottom out of the cause though, but we are going to see a lot of pressure come through, I think, around kind of maybe in that first catapult timing, if they can get a rotation. But you can't really leave the Ember solo and an Invoker having Exort. It's not really a hero that wants to be making rotations. So I am really intrigued to see if this Invoker going Exort is going to be a nice payoff for them, or if it's going to end up costing them in the long run. As Earthshaker might be in trouble though. Goes a bit too aggressive here against Yangon's duo down bot, and he's going to get punished.
He's going to get punished for it. OD getting a lot closer towards that Meteor Hammer. It's probably going to hit it around the same sort of timing as his level 6 as well. So that's what I'm really going to be looking in for. How is he going to manage both his health and mana stocks to be able to withstand that burst combo?
The Astral's on cooldown now, so he doesn't have it defensively. This is the big thing about the OD mid, and now Zorain even showing up as well. They drop the Sunstrike, which doesn't find the connection. Now Mamang dies, still going to pay the price though, Yu. Fortunately, not able to keep his core alive, and is eating a lot of damage as well from Yangon. Zorain, gotta be careful though. They're even gonna roll in forward, skill A. But another kick up in a couple of seconds, so finds the slow and finds the kill. 2 down from Army Geniuses in the mid lane. They've got a catapult wave as well, but they are very weak, so probably not going to be able to utilize it here to full effectiveness. And even see kill down bot as Young PH. This has been a rough laning stage so far for the Ember.
This time around, it was the combo that ends up killing him. Again, I'm sure it was nice that they were still able to clean up the Dark Willow at the end on skill A, but it was some misspell usage again. The Nature's Call was used after the Sprout, and that enables the Willow to just walk away from the Meteor combo that Hall was able to launch out. And when you're against an OD, if you could even just break even in this mid lane, you're feeling very happy on this Invoker. So the fact that that kill went begging is going to feel a little bit sore for him. It was the right kind of movement, though, that they had to make. They needed to get a kill super early on to delay this timing, even by a minute or two, is the difference maker.
He might be dead here.
Yeah.
He drops the ultimate. Oh, not enough.
That's the thing. Like, he kept his mana up high enough on Hor that he didn't actually take too much damage from the Sanity's Eclipse. So what I was talking about before with both health and mana management, he was doing it right there. Effectiveness of having those raindrops as well as the magic wand, and they're going in onto Mamangdai, misses the roll. But, someone have to scare him off a little bit. Now he's got the Meteor Hammer though.
The issue is that it leaves the Fury and Solo up top, so DB and you were able to dive under the tower, and Lum was a little bit too late on the rotation, so see if you do put some emphasis on a different lane, then it enables Army Geniuses to be able to then ramp up that pressure in their own lane. You know, we see the Earth Spirit having to help mid, but it puts pressure on now with the Fury on, and even down bot as well. They've done a very good job at utilizing the advantage, you know, whenever a young PH is in a very disadvantageous spot.
Yeah, for sure. And I do like the fact that they were instantly able to make that rotation. Like, as soon as you see Earth Spirit has left the lane, they were just like, right, this Furian's dead meat. He doesn't have the defensive capabilities to be able to prevent dives in onto us. Maybe if he has the Wrath of Nature, it's enough to deter them from just diving under the tower, just because of the huge amount of burst damage that you're able to dish out. But just the power tread's not quite enough.
At least it's not the one-sided start that we saw last game, or was it like 6-1? Probably even got a little bit worse at one stage there. But DB is going to be going into the good old Battle Fury. Monkey King, they're already trying to look towards that farming item, and if Radiant going to be able to pressure him before he's able to get too much on the map. But how do we feel some of these fights are going to break out? Is that Army Geniuses are more prioritized on taking team fights because they line up, and is that what you're reading so far?
I think they're a team that just needs to play a lot heavier around their cooldowns, of course. Like, basically, it's only the Wrath of Nature that they need to heavily wait around for. I suppose the Magnetize on top of that, but that's not what Skill A is there for. He's just there to disrupt the backline, make sure Earthshaker isn't able to get off these big combos. If they're able to silence him as well, that's an extra win. But you just compare that with what Army Geniuses have. You know, when Sanity's Eclipse is online, you can look to group up. When you've got the Wukong's command, you can look to take a tower with very little contesting. Same thing with the Arena and the Echo Slam. So it's similar to what happened in that mid lane. It's a lot more around pick-off potential for Yangon's side. They need to try and regularly find instances where one hero or even two is just out of position, and that is the power of having the Nature's Prophet. Just instant rotation able to come through. Might lead perhaps into some more aggressive warding positions being put down by Yangon's side, so that you've got the vision, you can get that Wrath of Nature really queued up, and then all it is a Sunstrike after a roll in from an Earth Spirit, and you actually only need to commit, let's say, one hero to secure a kill, maybe two if you've got the Ember Spirit, if you're feeling really needing to secure it.
Yeah, I guess that is the good thing if they can get some momentum running, that you're going to have this kind of in and out factor where Ember is going to have a high amount of mobility with the Remnant. Earth Spirit can be pretty tricky to catch as well if he's had a pretty good game and the levels are picked up. So if they can get the pick-offs for Hor, then we could really see him snowball. But in a game like it is, though, Army Geniuses, you always, as an Invoker, you want to try and survey the fight and not feel pressured to... You want to get as many abilities off as possible and utilize that full 10 ability toolkit that you have. And if heroes are up in your face, then it makes it very difficult for you to survey the fight and get the correct understanding of what ability to use. And Army Geniuses, they kind of have some heroes to really make it difficult for Hor, with the Earthshaker, the Mars, the Monkey King, always going to be up in his face. And even the Willow just dumping out abilities on top of his head.
Going onto the OD right now. Just able to dodge it out with the vision coming through from that... that Observer Ward. You've still got a lot of heavy rotations coming through, though. Doesn't finish the teleport on the Nature's Prophet, though.
Tornado, at least forces back, but the fissure beautifully placed here from Lim. That's going to be a kill coming out in the mid lane. We are constantly seeing he tried to steal from Wami, but no, I won't be able to. This is a thing though, whenever Meng Dai does use the Astral aggressively without any backup, and if Radiant are positioned correctly, they are going to punish him. So you have to be aware of this on Dire. And I love the ward positioning that they have from a Meng Dai. Just well aware that Radiant are going to be able to pressure the OD, so they need to get that extra vision advantage to be able to see when Radiant are bringing the supports over. And that enabled them just to get the TPs in and the reinforcements. Once again though, this
is way too deep.
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
I mean, we praise the guy and then he goes and dives under a T1 tower. You just cannot do that. It was some really heads up play though for him to be able to avoid that that Earth Spirit gang potential.
Yule, do you have a couple of heroes nearby? Even thinking that.
They just scouted him out. They dropped the sentry ward on the high ground.
Middle tower is under attack.
Yeah, they're just gonna back up and be like, all right, we'll play further down to the southern side then. We see Young PH. Tricky, but he drops the arena first. Now with the follow-up from you, the control thanks to the bramble, but nice kick out. It's into another bramble for Young PH. He survives, and up with the Sunstrike, they'll find you. Woman's gonna get chased down as well. The TP potential from Zarain paying off big here with that +1 effect as Yangon find 2 in their own jungle.
Again, pick-off style fights prefer Yangon's side. Like, it's just the nature of all of their heroes. It's very single target, it's very bursty focused, whereas I don't feel like you could just commit 2 heroes to try and get a kill, especially on something like an Ember Spirit. Like, maybe if Willow had 6, they could do that, where you've got the Bedlam to increase the burst damage, but you didn't. You just had the Cursed Crown and the Bramble Maze, and it's just not quite enough.
Now they've got some pretty decent levels as well. I mean, Lon level 6, the Earth Spirit's also sitting pretty comfortable at the moment as well with 5.25, and this is before that 10 minutes, so you know, Radiant, their supports can definitely do a lot. When you push a Rubik to a 5, it is a little bit more of a greedier support. But if you've got to start like this, we could see Lon have a pretty good game. And it's definitely not a hero that we've seen him play, not his playstyle, which you brought up in the draft. So I'm intrigued to see how this different hero is able to be played from their 5.
Yeah, for sure. They make sure that Willow is so dependent on her levels. Like, you're a completely different hero when you're level 4 versus level 6. Just that Bedlam, that solo pick-off potential is insane from what is a support at the end of the day. They're able to pick up the Midas as well, and are they going to go for a kill here and actually get it by going the Exort again? This is the sort of thing that having this Invoker enables. You've got great setups for it. You've got the Searing Chains, even with the Nature's Prophet, you've got a Sprout, you've got the stun from the Earth Spirit. There's a lot of ways to just get these pickoffs and, you know, punish the... All you were really wanting to do was soak up some experience on this top side, but perhaps just getting a little bit hungry there.
Good lane as well.
Going to go down as well.
Once again, Meng Dai, I mean, in a position where the Earth Spirit Invoker punishing you here if you use the Astral a little bit too aggressively. They do have some ways to protect the tower with DB showing up and the Earthshaker, but it's not really going to do much. Lim's just going to have to do a walk-in Echo Slam, and Monkey, and there's a lot of control to be able to deal with the Monkey King right now, so he's not really wanting to kind of show up to fight. So this being is a much better start from Yangon.
It is, but I feel like part of it is just because of how Army Geniuses have chosen to take these fights. You know, I feel like you're more than happy to sit back, play a little bit more passively around your towers, but for whatever reason they tried to take the fight to these pick-off heroes. Again, another Sunstrike landing in onto Wami. That's all they need.
Looking good. Paying off here. The Exort Invoker was a bit worried that it might be greedy, but no, it's definitely doing its job here. You see the setup's coming through, and well, Young PH is being able to have a little bit better catch-up as well after the laning stage. Was worried, but is showing up, setting up for the Invoker, doing a very good job, and they're struggling right now. Until Dire are able to find some items, and especially some levels as well, their catch versus Ember is going to be very difficult.
And even now, like I talked about, maybe Yangon might go for a few more of those aggressive Observer wards. They've only got the one up right now, but it's around the Ancient Camp where they know that this Monkey King, which they've been creating a lot of space for, let's be real, on Army Genius's side, he's getting closer towards that Perseverance, to that Battle Fury. and you've nearly got the Orchid finished up on this Nature's Prophet. So you can even go for a lot of this solo pick-off potential onto a Monkey King, which is the win condition for Army Geniuses.
Dire's bottom tower.
Yeah,
is under
it seems
attack.
like that Army Geniuses, they've got a much clearer win condition than what Yangon do, right?
Oh yeah. But, well, they're kind of playing right into Yangon's hands. They're like, what, you want to run at us? Rather than just sit back, get your levels, get your experience? Like, you cannot do anything as this Earthshaker without the Blink Dagger. So the fact that they've attempted to go for a few fights, and, well, Lim hasn't really died from them, but still, he might die now.
Skill even with the help of the Wrath of Nature. They're gonna take him out with the urn along with that Magnetize. Looks like Lim, one more rock's gonna get dropped here, but it put Skill in a bit of a difficult spot going for that deep attempt. Unfortunately, the Sunstrike was off the mark, so that extra damage was lacking there. And you see the boys come up just to protect their position for Earthshaker, but they are still getting a lot out of the map. I mean, Zalray shoving in top, got the Invoker, level 11 already. This Might is continuing to pay off. He's already got 2,200 gold in the bank, so getting close to the Ags. Oof. A lot of damage on Lim as well.
Yeah. Able to save him though, which of course, as a Shaker, you're having to save up so much gold, most of it being unreliable, so you're just going to keep losing. They're going in onto DB here with the Orchid pop, potentially. Has to be a little bit careful. Doesn't have the rest of the team to be able to back this up.
They're continuing to go, but I don't know if they can fight this. They're coming over, Radiant. DB. Want to drop the ultimate, but look at the damage. They're just slowly poking and prodding them down on Army Genius, and now with how weak they are, they're going to have to disengage. Wami drops the ultimate, so they find the kill on Lun, but now DB has to retreat away. Even Lim as well is getting chased down, but a hasted up Furion. And just this constant choking across the map just puts Army Genius in a tricky spot here, but the Boundless finds two. They push back Ember as well into the tower, so they're going to be able to punish the deep attempt there. And now with the Bramble set up for the Terrorize, Wami doesn't have a spear available, but he's going to run to the follow-up of the Bramble, and Mamang Dire drops the hammer, finds a triple kill, and well, Army Geniuses hit back here through that team fight.
That's the big difference. They took the fight on their side of the map. They forced them to dive into unfriendly territory where, yeah, you've got the Nature's Prophet that can TP, but no one else can. And their reinforcements were able to come on Army Geniuses to repel all of that. It was really nicely done by DB as well. He got the Jingu stacks up to maximum, so he had that lifesteal waiting on him for a long time. But just didn't end up using it until he needed to right at the very end, getting the Boundless Strike onto 2, allows Wami to get the spear into the tree. And, well, when that's under a tier 2 tower, you've got a lot of extra armor and regen to be able to play with. So, again, this feels like the game of who makes the wrong aggressive plays at the wrong time.
Yeah, we've seen a couple times that either team hasn't been able to limit this aggressiveness where early on under that tier 1 tower mid from Dire, they just dived a little bit too far on Mamang Dire, and now this side for Radiant going a little bit too deep underneath the tier 2 tower mid. So it's just, yeah, can you really restrict this eagerness to find kills? And, well, they might have to set up here. Meteor, followed up with the Bramble. Is in trouble here with the Earth Spirit, although they don't want to dump too many abilities because they don't have a ward seeing the rotations by the T1 tower.
But there didn't actually end up being any, so Skille is just able to walk away.
Dire's structures are fortified.
I do like that they have to make sure if they don't have a lineup that can play too overly aggressive right now in Army Geniuses, but if you're ever going to take fights, it has to be on your terms around your own choke points and where they were positioning just before on their high ground. And once again, on their high ground around the Triangle Camp, they're going to be able to catch up. Lun Vijay doesn't find Young PH. They still drop the Sunstrike, which is an immense amount of damage on Wami. So Young PH trying to posture aggressively to find that extra little damage to be able to bring down the Mars, but it won't be enough. And now has he stuck around for a little bit too long? Astral sets up for the spear. They find the connection. And now even Skill tries to help out somewhat defensively with Sans, but it's not enough as Lim just walks in, drops the Echo. And that's a double for you there. Once again, Army Geniuses taking a fight on their terms around their vision.
Yeah, just a little bit too late with the silence coming through there from the Earth Spirit. Would have been enough, of course, as an Ember Spirit to potentially get away. I don't think they layered the Fissure over the top of that that Spear Stun, so another kill that's gone begging. It's still a 4k net worth lead, though, for Yangon, but you've definitely enabled Army Geniuses to come back into things. I talked about Shaker not really being able to do much of anything in these extended team fights without the Blink Dagger, but with that assist goal that he got from there, he's only 300 gold away.
Yeah, that's big. He's a bit low of a level right now. Just got tied up with the rest of the supports as well.
Dire are
Even see
scanning.
Dark Willow kind of struggling at the moment. They're trying to funnel a lot of the farm into the Earthshaker, but all the Aghanim's freshly picked up, so now with the Cataclysm, that's enough damage to be able to find the Mars, and now with the backline as well, they drop the Hammer, it's enough damage to be able to kill off the Earth Spirit here, but they're still continuing to more as Fear It Up, now into the Cursed Crowns, enough control to be able to find the Ember Spirit. They turn that fight around, they do lose 2 at the start, but it looks like Army Geniuses bring the numbers to at least get some revenge there.
Very nicely done. I mean, the fact that the Ags is revealed at 18 minutes on an Invoker, pretty big deal for him to be able to get that one out there, but yeah, to be able to turn that around, and that's the power of the Dark Willow, right? So much solo pick-off potential with essentially no items. I think typically you want to go for something like a Yule Scepter, but I think this is definitely a 4-staff game for you.
Yeah, especially against a Sunstrike where you need to have an escapability to get out of that combo arena. Locking Zarain, but nice attempt at the TP. It's going to get cancelled though from DB, and now Zarain has to retreat away. Put Skill in a bit of a tricky spot, but Radiant, they're still coming over to take the fight. Monkey King falling incredibly low here, still doesn't have any protection against a lot of the magic damage from Yangon, so they find 2 around this mid lane deep underneath beside the tower, but they're still hunting. They want more blood.
Nicely done once again. Able to pick off another core hero. Again, it's some of the heroes that are closer to their big key items are able to survive. Shaker only 100 gold away now from that Blink Dagger. He's got Echo Slam available in 5 seconds, so I'm sure they might try and give at least one neutral camp to him, so he's able to finish that one up.
Dire's bottom tower
What
under
is... Okay, so Hor's gone. I was going to say, what's the next item for the Evoker? But he's gone BKB next. They are going to have Fury on BKB pretty shortly. Ember's going to a BKB as his next item. So is the Invoker. So triple BKB is going to come through. And it's going to make it very difficult for Army Geniuses. They're going to have to burst them down before the magic immunity comes off. Otherwise, a lot of their control and damage, honestly, is just going to get mitigated heavily.
I think the big thing for Yangon is just being able to get these BKBs slightly earlier than what Army Geniuses is,
Yep.
and it doesn't look like they're going to be able to. I mean, Memang Dai has already picked up the Mithril Hammer. It's very important because OD becomes essentially useless as you as a core when you've got that BKB
Dire's
charge
middle
available.
tower
But
is under attack.
you know, if you're able to just run into an Invoker, what really can he do against you? If you're right on point with the Cataclysm, I suppose, but there's very few ways to set up for that if you've got the BKB off.
Radiant are scanning.
Smoking up. Radiant want to try and take a fight here. Dire, they're on a high ground around their observer ward, but might be able to run into young PH. Wami sets up. Fizz is going to find the connection for slap. And now with the Cataclysm gets dropped and forced to retreat. It's immense amount of damage. So OD has to protect himself with the Astral. Zarain's going to TP on the background with the BKB, but the OD still in trouble. We already see the defensive factor in the Astral is being utilized here. He runs into the roll as well. 3 going to end up falling. Zarain still hunting for more. As you just see, taking fights that pre-BKB favoring Radiant right now.
Just having it nice and early. I mean, Zorain was able to use it to get in onto the backline, make sure no one was able to escape, but just a little bit slow that time around on the Astral Imprisonment. The Cataclysm was able to land onto the OD. Prior to that, he had about 80% HP, but afterwards, I think he was sitting at 15, 20%, and that's not enough, even with how elusive you are, being able to Astral yourself into a Blink Dagger. That's not enough to get you away.
Looking real strong right now for Yangon. 9,000 net worth lead, and this... Are you worried that it could get to a stage, though, where it's going to get a little bit more difficult for them to take objectives, potentially running up and sieging high ground into Dire?
I mean, you always got the rat potential with the Nature's Prophet, another one of those heroes that we haven't yet talked about with the strength of the Ag Shard. Just that Sprout is insane. Being able to get the Greater Treants, we've seen people pick it as position 5, literally going like, no boots, just go Solar Crest into Ag Shard, and that's all you really need. Just constantly harass towers and objectives throughout the map.
The good old rat Dota. Guess that's the best way to be able to find some objectives.
I think he's got a
tool to teach.
What's he got? Bloodthorn? Queued up soon for
Double
the
damage.
Nature's Prophet. He had it for a little while.
Yeah, I saw it as well. Looks like he's back into the AC. This does give them a way to be able to take Roche with the AC, but now even with the DD, they can just walk in instead. Right, what's Hor... Hold snap, go down, okay. Dire's still not really in a spot. They don't have these items at the moment. BKB is the big thing for the Monkey King, and it's going to enable Yangon just to be able to walk in and find the first Roche of the game.
It's always the strength that you have, you know, that double damage on a Nature's Prophet. You talk about these different objective takers. And it's not too often that you see the offlaner be the one that you know, enables that sort of thing, maybe with a Beastmaster, I suppose, but Yangon making it work with this Nature's Prophet this time around, and they're even just looking to contest and continue that into a tier 2.
Bottom tower is under attack.
Been very impressed with Yangon's warding as well so far this game. The ward around the triangle, kind of the southern side of that ancient camp, we've seen them place that multiple times so far this game, and it's given them a lot of information. Just enable them to read the map perfectly. They find that tier 2 top, well aware that Dire, where they're positioning it and not coming over to fight, and they're continuing to hit their item timings as well. Bloodthorn now picked off as Zorain, and this is very close to a BKB on the Invoker as well. It just needs a recipe.
Yeah, and I feel like, you know, now Army Geniuses are kind of doing the right thing, where they're sitting back, making sure they get their first key items. They've already got the Blink Dagger available on the Shaker. He's 700 or so gold away from picking up that shard. Oh, I just died from this.
This way you need the 4 staff on someone.
That's what I was saying, like, you need it on this Dark Willow. Like, I cannot see you going any other item. It's so great against, you know, just being able to get slightly away from the Earth Spirit, out of Sprout, out of Cataclysm, out of Searing Chains combos. It's good at everything.
Is it going to force someone else to potentially go for that 4 staff? Because you see the Dark Willow, they are funneling absolutely no net worth into this hero.
Yeah, and I think that's why it doesn't really work as a 5. You know, it's has essentially no solo farming potential. You need to be able to be part of kills, and they haven't really gone a lineup that gets kills super early on. Just wanting to finish up the magic wand, which I think is understandable, but you need that 4 staff.
Yeah, you
really do. I mean, OD can go for it, but I feel like this BKB is very important to finish up as well. Of course, just having that extra movement speed is always good. Having that extra intelligence from the Staff of Wizardry that makes up the 4 staff, very good too.
Yeah, I wonder if it's something that OD will consider about going. It was definitely an item that we saw on OD cores a lot, you know, the Blink, Hurricane, Pike, BKB, but it feels like now with the Meteor Hammer, kind of just, it's going to delay that item just to a little bit later in the game where you might want some more higher. Yeah, exactly. That's honestly what I think you need against the Ember.
You do need it against the Ember, and of course, you know, especially now that it's purely based off mana as opposed to intelligence with your Sanity's Eclipse, having the Ultimate Orb, having the Mystic Staff, great at being able to deal with all of that, right? So it's a rough position to be in, but I feel like if you try and go for this Sheep Stick before you're able to finish up a 4 staff on the OD, you're just not going to get to that point of the game. They're just going to run over you in the time needed. So I think 4 staff, it's about, if you can, try and avoid a couple of these fights, get a few more key timings, and if you can as well, burn a couple of BKB charges on Yangon's side. And then when you've got that extra couple of seconds on your own BKBs that you've been able to get by being a little bit behind, it's, you know, that's go time. It's still a rough position to be in, though, and maybe they're suffering from success a little bit here because their game 1 was so dominant that they felt that even with this lineup that doesn't really fit the style of playing as aggressively as they did in the early stage, they tried to, and they were just punished by Yangon for it.
Yeah, I think we both agree that Dire are gonna have this stronger late game presence?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so it's being able to get to that stage where the BKBs come off, and then, you know, we're going to see the team fights really skyrocket. But you've got to play a very disciplined game of Dota right now. You're down 13,000 gold, and it's going to continue to grow, honestly, with this ages. So just have to do whatever you can, find farm, make sure you do not get picked off, because Radiant have an incredible way to pick your heroes off, and it's going to be a rough game, but this is where Army Geniuses just have to play disciplined.
Dire's bottom tower
like you just think of all the different things that they have to potentially come back into this game on Dire. You've got the Ag Shot available. You've got literally any item on the Dark Willow. 4-star Axe Shard, suddenly you're 10 times stronger on this Dark Willow. Not just through damage, but actually able to survive and be a hero for your team. Blink Dagger yet to be picked up for Wommy. Monkey King, he's yet to get his own Ag Scepter. He'll probably go into Ascari after that, and they're able to pick up Skill A here.
They gotta do it fast, because they're coming over here, Radiant. Young PH with the Cataclysm on both the supports. They're just food right now for this combo. Gonna try and run up the higher gun, but Zarain, he's just gonna TP in. He doesn't give a damn. They know that they've got the numbers advantage at the moment, and the Mars, he's feeling like a support right now with the net worth as well. Very far behind considering all the cores, and he'll end up dropping as well. 3 down on Army Geniuses, and well, they tried to make an aggressive play, but you see the Earth Spirit, man, he can get pretty tanky as the game goes on. 4.4 strength gain is already closing in on 2k HP as well, and they were kind of a little bit hesitant there. They didn't want to drop everything on him and commit too far, but it ended up making them get punished there.
And now he's got a BKB as well, so good luck killing this this Earth Spirit, and even if you do, good luck getting out of the fight unscathed.
How long are they gonna Aegis? Another 50 seconds here. Maybe they can... At least you're not worried about the threat of the Cataclysm for potentially an extra, 20-25 seconds, but Towers just getting brought down, man. They don't still have the greatest way to be able to deal with the Fury on Treants. This was the issue with their draft, and you see it showing.
He's gone the shard as well, so you've got those greater Treants coming in, doing a lot of damage.
And look at him go to work. It does so much.
Is he giving alacrity to the Treants? Might even be a decent idea. They're just going to be happy with taking a tier 3 though.
Do Dire smoke up now, though? That's the question. They got BKB, they've got all the ultimates, they know that the age is about to tick out. Top's in a decent spot. The only issue is that there are other lanes.
Couple seconds. You got like 2 gold until Ag Shard on Shaker. Here we go. Now you can make something happen.
Got to shove out mid and then go. No? They have a smoke? I don't think they have one, actually. Yeah, they don't have a smoke, so they're just stuck in. They buy one now, but I mean, Radiant's still posturing. You see they're on their high ground though. Skill in a great spot to pop a smoke. Lon even positioning around just in case.
I mean, they know exactly where they are. Their entire jungle is warded, essentially, so... And they eventually pop the smoke. They're going to use Monkey as a little bit of bait. He's got the BKB. He's damn close to his Ag Scepter. That would be huge to be able to have at the start of this fight, but I just think they want to try and catch Yangon off.
There's a sentry. Young Page gotta be so careful. They drop it. But once again... Oh no, now the Cataclysm. Look at the roof for so long. The Urset that protects the Mars, but the Willow's still gonna fall with the backlines off. Rangers deals with the Earthshaker instantly. Army Genius is constantly just getting picked up before they can start the fight. But the team fight now, Monkey King is gonna get caught out as well. Can't even utilize the BKB. Momeng dies, getting chased back inside the base. But Yangon, they need the buybacks, they need them down. Momeng dies in trouble. So as the Astral just in case, but it's actually stalling it for Radiant. Buybacks, look at him come out. This is immense amount of commitment here from Army Genius. They need to get something out of it with the stun set up after the Astral. They're going to drop the hammer, but Young PH unable to get away. A nice attempt with the slide dodge, but it's not enough. He'll end up falling, but the price has been paid. An immense amount of buybacks from Army Geniuses.
Yeah, 3 buybacks, 23k net worth lead, and he nearly got away, to be perfectly honest. And yeah, that's always not an enviable position to be in. What was, I think, about 200 gold away from picking up his Ag Scepter on the Monkey King, now he's back to only halfway. So, big stalling on some of his key timings.
And that has to feel so rough for them. We have, of course, the Observer advantage there, but we saw the Ember Invis. They were smoked up. They had a sentry on the lane. If they literally were standing... Top might not get a chance here as Skill 8. Rolls in, pops the BKB. Dire, they're coming over here to try to protect the Earthshaker. He's gonna get silenced up and just brought down, man. Sorry, damn it. Oh no, it's so rough for them. 2 down. Remember, they bought back previously. Wommy's getting chased as well.
1 dieback's used. Are they going to be able to catch out Wommy?
Who have they found as well, actually, near the jungle? It's going to be Momeng Dire. He's going to pop the BKB, just turn, but it doesn't matter. Now the physical damage with the Alacrity and the Fury on. And that might be getting to the stage where they're going to have to call it pretty soon as Yangon Galacticos force a game 3.
Nicely done. You hate to see 2-0s, you know, especially with teams that are really fighting for their spot. I mean, Yangon, they're sitting towards the bottom end of the table right now, and Army Geniuses, they haven't secured themselves anything by any stretch of the imagination. You know, we're in the second last week of the tournament now. They've still got a couple of games you have to play, and a lot of teams are sitting pretty damn even. So, series now at 1-1, tale of two stories where, yeah, like I said before, it felt like Army Geniuses, they were feeling themselves a little bit too much based off how dominant they were in game number one, that their playstyle didn't fit the draft that they'd gone for, and they were punished accordingly. So well played to Yangon to exploit that.
Yeah, they definitely exploited it to a high content there. We see just the greedy kind of supports coming out from Army Geniuses getting punished, and was very impressed. Zarain struggled in game one. This Furion had an incredible game. Hor as well. We saw that his Sun Strikes were on point. It does help when you've got an Ember to set up, and I think also got to give props to Young PH. I mean, that laning phase, he was down 0 and 2, but was still at least able to find these kills for the Invoker, which could snowball the game. And all in all, Yangon did an incredible job overall in all the boxes here. The warding, the way they're able to pressure their item timings and their timings just in general across the map was a very big difference to what we saw in game one here from Yangon. And exactly like you said, we don't want to see just a 2-0. We want to get a full best of 3.
Yeah, just understanding the strength of their draft. That was the big thing for mine for Yangon, and exploiting the mistakes that Army Geniuses made. Like, you might look at the score sheet and say, oh, Young PH 4, 7, and 15. For me, he was the one that actually cemented them this position in the game. Like, so many great Searing Chain, Sleight of Fist combos that set up for these amazing Cataclysms, that set up even just for an Earth Spirit roll in. So for mine, it might look a little bit off, but Young PH is the MVP for me.
Yeah, definitely was able to help them get this early lead, and Yangon, they didn't look back from there. A beautiful game 2 performance is going to end up forcing this series to go the distance. Both teams looking to try and at least cement their spot in the next season of the lower division. They want to make sure they do not get eliminated here, and playing for, honestly, their tournament lives to keep in for next season. We'll see how they're going to end up faring in game 3. We'll take a short break with that one right around the corner. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Game 3 of our last series of the night between Army Geniuses and Yangon Galacticos. We're going to get a full distance best of 3 here, Danog. What war could we want? Means we get to see another background from you as well. That's the main thing.
I mean, that's just the Yangon betters, you know. They're swimming in it. They're having a great time, and that's Donald sitting over there. That's Army Geniuses wishing that was him. But it could all turn around. You know, this is Game 3. And for the people that have been predicting with your channel points, good job. I'm sure you're rich in imaginary internet points, but those imaginary internet points can be used for something. If you haven't realized or you haven't tuned in yet, A, what's wrong with you? And B, have I got news for you? We've also got a raffle going on where I'm giving away a bunch of Dota-themed stuff. Here's a little bit of a sneak peek, like a little tiny and... Oh, God, the green's green.
God, the green.
All right, tiny and IO figurine. I just got to make sure it's in front of my face. There we go. So yeah, like those. I've also got like a little Wind Ranger one. I've been shilling things like mouse pads and little badges like these guys. Let me see, what do we got? Storm Spirit, Enchantress, and Night Stalker in front of the face. There we go. Oh God. Oh God. Oh God. Okay, we're good. So yeah, lots of good stuff to give away, and all you need to do is build up 2,500 channel points. Easy way to get 300 is by following Aries stream. Give him a little clicky click there, and yeah, just either sit and stream, watching, or if you're up for it, just when the prediction window comes up towards the end of the draft, just pop in your little predictions there, and if you're right, you get a nice little increase in points, which is always nice and fun.
Beastmaster.
Well, how are we feeling about this one? We're seeing a bit of a different switch up. The puck's going to get let through. So that is something that Yangon have looked very, very strong on whenever they do play it. So I'm intrigued to see. I mean, even the Ancient Apparition getting banned out early on from Yangon. So this was before the Morphling got banned. So maybe they were just trying to preemptively protect the Morphling if they picked it, I'm guessing.
Could be, or it might just be the Phoenix, considering they had the first pick overall. Like, they didn't want Army Geniuses to go AA where they've picked the Beastmaster, you know, and then just go into those next phase of bans where they can just get rid of the big counters to the AA, you know, ones that can just get in right on the back. Like we saw in Monday's games with Omega and Signal. They went for this Nyx AA opening in both games, Signal, and they just got run over by this style of draft, which could not deal with split push. Puck can deal with split push, very nice. And Phoenix, probably not as much so, but that's not really your role in the game, and they've still got plenty of time to be able to address it. They haven't picked both of their supports just yet.
You take a look at the team fight as well that they've got so far. You know, the Puck Coil protecting the Supernova is going to feel super nice, so... We saw Army Geniuses have some pretty good team fight last game, but unable to get really the abilities off in conjunction. So
seems like a bit of an opposite, right? Like they've got a lot more team fight on Yangon's side now and a lot more pick off on Army Geniuses. Maybe not so much map movement, but it's still pretty good to be able to, you know, get one kill and transition that into an objective right now.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm a huge fan of the Beastmaster versus the Phoenix. Just naturally, that inner beast with the team is going to enable you to at least have an extra, and I should say enable your team just to further deal with the Supernova. That's a big thing that the Beastmaster provides. And even just the vision as well for the Puck that's, you know, maybe playing in the trees, helping to split push. So can never say no to some extra vision advantage that the Beastmaster can provide.
Beastmaster's also good with the boar. You know, it's a slow death with the fiery spirits that you're able to launch out. Like, you might be able to get rid of the boar, but Beastmaster can just deny it, right? And it's not actually going to be a big influencer of what actually happens in the laning stage. So unless they go something that's able to deal a lot of just burst damage to a Beastmaster board, they're not going to be all that concerned. Like maybe a Wraith King or something along those lines, just for the stun, just 1 point in the stun, walk up, crit the boar, and then, you know, you're very happy with it. But it's still going to be tough going into a Beastmaster's any kind of melee core. Yeah,
definitely. Is there a melee core that feels like you can lane versus the Beastmaster?
Probably Monkey King.
Yep.
That's about it. You know, you're still able to get some of those Jingu stacks up. You've got extra units to be able to lifesteal with the Boundless Strike off of once you do get that Jingu. So it's doable for sure.
Dire team pick.
Warden ban again. Interesting.
Yeah. I mean, that was the big thing that was leading me into thinking, like,
draw,
I
yeah.
said before, the ranged one before, right? But they didn't actually end up doing it. So yeah, it's changing things up a little bit. I think maybe they were thinking of the TB, right? And then it was just Yangon that ended up banning it. Wisely enough,
10
though, they did get
seconds
rid of the
remaining.
Mars. Great combination with both the Puck and the Phoenix. So
5
wisely done by Army
seconds
Geniuses
remaining.
there.
Yeah.
Could they go the Enigma? Could they go... I want to say the 5 Enigma, but Lun is playing this Phoenix, let's be real.
That is true, yeah. I was going to say then, if you go Puck, Phoenix,
Radiant
Enigma, that's
team
3
pick.
range shooters, incredibly squishy, that kind of want to play the back, so... Be a bit worried in that regard.
I think Phoenix Enigma is probably a little bit too greedy. I think Phoenix probably achieves similar to what you want the Enigma to do, at least in team fights, not so much in lane, but you've definitely got a
10
really
seconds
strong pick off,
remaining.
and yeah, if they get on the winning side of any
5
kind of
seconds
engagement,
remaining.
Army Geniuses are just going to snowball through and take at least one objective, maybe 2. Like tier 1 tower into Roche seems like a very early possibility.
And this is where I'm thinking of like a Timber or an Underlord. I mean, Timber looks pretty good this game already. 2 strength heroes, Ogre doesn't deal with you at all. And then the Underlord factor is just the way to be able to protect towers. You want this hero to sit in front. You've got the root is also really nice with the Supernova, with the Puck, the Firestorm in conjunction with the Coil. So I think you do need a way, like you just highlighted, that if Army Geniuses win a fight, or even if they don't, they can just take towers. So you need a way to protect it.
Dusk.
How do I feel about this Tusk? Not that good. It's the long and short of it, right? Like, what is it essentially providing to Yangon right now? It's obviously nice to have a BKB piercing
10 seconds
disable, but is there anything really that needs to deal with that right now?
5 seconds
Not
remaining.
really. Is there any burst damage that you need to deal with Blink Snowball? Not really. Do you have 2 heroes that can be engaged by your tag team just yet? Not really. Do you have a strong Roche taking lineup? Not really. So I'm just trying to think what the mindset behind going this Tusk is. Maybe it could trade reasonably into an Ogre. That's about it.
I think it does enable if the Puck gets played as a 3. We've seen Zarane's been
Man.
looking pretty good. That's a...
This is just... They are just going to group as 5 as soon as they get, like, even just Necro 1, to be honest, on the Beastmaster, and create havoc. Like, you just need to place that healing ward
10
down,
seconds
sit next to the
remaining.
Juggernaut, and go.
5 seconds remaining.
Honestly, they could still Lycan. Like, really. What's stopping them?
Not a lot, because Army Geniuses very much don't deal with summons.
Radiant
Like the
team
Earth Spirit
back.
Ogre support duo, they're going to PL. So that's further kind of saying that they don't deal with summons / illusions, which they don't. Very good against the Beastmaster. It's difficult to find the raw. The Jug Omni Slash is going to get tanked up. It is a bit slower though as a
Dire
core,
team
so
back.
Army Geniuses could still be able to group up and take an immense amount of objectives before the PL can feel like he's going to come online. You see they're
Radiant
protecting the
team
PL as
back.
well. They banned the Lesh, probably going to ban another way to deal with this hero. Maybe the Zeus? Worried about the Puck getting on the Zeus, but you need... Army Geniuses have to go for a mid hero to deal with the PL.
10
I mean, it
seconds
could just be
remaining.
an Ember Spirit, right?
Yep.
Could be a Tide.
5 seconds remaining.
I'd say the Ember's probably the best because there's a lack of stuns that Yangon have. And
Even
the match...
a Storm? Like, I guess you don't really want to be against the Puck with that, but I'm just thinking things that can also get on top of the Phoenix.
Yeah, because that's also one thing they're lacking. It's just kind of the Earth Spirit, unless the Beastmaster goes Blink, but Blink this game is...
Dire team back.
I feel like you need to go all in on to push right now. And, one of the additional benefits of having that Earth Spirit against the Phantom Lancer is that your Rolling Bolt is going to land onto the real one. So that's always nice to have.
This...
Radiant team pick.
Could you TA against the Puck? I know it's not good versus the PL, but then you go all in on just ending this game before the PL comes online. Because I think we're both worried that Army Geniuses are just going to group up and take objectives and the PL is a little slow. And TA is already super strong versus the Puck.
TA is really strong against the puck. My only concern
10
is that,
seconds
like you
remaining.
mentioned, if you don't deal with the PL, there is the capability of him coming back.
5
Of course, the
seconds
alternative to
remaining.
that is the Juggernaut just goes
Dire
like
team
a Battle
pick.
Fury instead of a Maelstrom or something along those lines. But is there enough farm on the map to actually enable that to happen? Hmm. It ain't bad, that's for sure. I mean, Elder Titan's going to be decent
10
against the
seconds
Beastmaster.
remaining.
Obviously, going to have a lot of units to be able to get the Astral Spirit off of.
5 seconds
Which is going to
remaining.
be feel nice. How are they going to be able to round this draft out? I'm feeling I feel like it should be one of the spirits, to be perfectly honest. But you don't want to get caught with Dream Coil. That's my main concern.
Yeah. And you see the follow-up as well now in the coil. You got ET with the synergy with the puck, so that Echo Stomp, that Earth Splitter coming down, Supernova. It's gonna get a stage in this game where you drop the coil and then you got a bunch of other abilities that are getting follow-up put on your head. So the puck coil is a big thing this game.
I'm still going to say Lycan. You know, you might not be able to zip onto the Phoenix, but you're going to be able to close the gap pretty damn fast. Yes, you'll still probably get coiled, but if you're calling a Lycan, he's got enough tankiness to be able to handle it.
Now
Okay.
Not a
select your
Magnus, huh?
heroes.
Alright. So what's the itemization then for the Juggernaut? Because it's gonna have the Empower. Does he still go Maelstrom?
I think you can. I think you can go Maelstrom and then just build purely into attack speed to take advantage of the cleave that you're going to be getting through the Magnus. I feel like Jug's one of those few heroes that Swiftblink is just absolutely amazing on. I think Army Geniuses would be hoping that they're going to be able to close the game out before it gets to that point, but it is definitely a viability. I mean, Mjolnir is just such a nice item against this PL that I think it'd be a mistake not to build it when you've got this Magnus
10
just going to be able to give
seconds
you the cleave
remaining.
naturally as well.
And this is going to be an ET in the offlane as well.
5
So
seconds
Zarain
remaining.
picking this one up. Really nice with the tusk. Both these heroes just want to right click. Is this going to force Army Geniuses to maybe go with a defensive try? Because I feel like Jug and Ogre are going to struggle in that matchup. So do you have to bring the extra hero in the Earth Spirit just to maybe offset the worry at the early levels?
Or do they even just switch up the lanes entirely? Do they put Wami in that lane instead?
So what
'Cause-
it would... Yeah.
Well, you're always going to be able to doppel off the you know, the slow and all that sort of stuff. So you're not really going to be as concerned about as this Phantom Lancer, and I feel like Jug does okay against a PL. It's rough though. I don't mind the Elder Titan pick. I'm still feeling pretty strong about Army Geniuses draft though. How do you feel?
I'm... In my head, I want your opinion if, honestly, do you think that the mag slows the Army Geniuses lineup down a bit too much though? Because you highlighted that you think Army Genius can just group up and take objectives, and the mag as a mid hero is traditionally known to take a little bit more time where you really want to use that in power. So is it that they're just going to hit?
Goes, right?
Sure.
It depends what iron build he goes. Like, is he going to go, you know, just a couple of braces to be able to sustain a bit better in lane, into an Echo Saber, into a Blink Dagger after that? Is he going to look to go a early-ish BKB so that he can be a bit more of that front line and not put all of the load onto this this Earth Spirit? It's hard to say, but you know, a puck at least is going to be able to outrange a lot of the harass that's going to be coming out from the Empower Cleave in the mid lane. You typically see, like, Magnus used to be picked as the big response to the heroes like your Void Spirits, for example, that, you know, just want to be standing and right-clicking for the majority of the lane, but definitely not able to do that against a strength hero with cleave.
I mean, this is a game where all has to pop off. Like, you're going in a matchup where Mag's going to get his farm. Puck might struggle early on just because of the damage disadvantage that you have, but the Mag is traditionally just going to be playing around mid, shoving out the lane and going back to the jungle. So it is just going to enable the Puck where you won't really feel too much pressure on your own tower because you're not versing someone like a DK, and Mag's not going to mirror your movements to gank. And you're also going against heroes that don't really deal with you in the early game. You know, Lim's going to need some extra levels, then that might make it a little bit more difficult. You know, Beastmaster with Raw, but if you play away from him. So I do think that the Puck early on, I think, has to have an incredibly strong game. I'm looking at this offlane from Yangon as well. If it does just go with the natural setup of the ET Tusk up against the Jug and the Ogre, I'm worried for Army Geniuses because I think they really might be able to snowball that lane.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree entirely with everything you said.
So what was the final prediction here? Who are we feeling? You say Army Geniuses?
Something tells me that they're going to be a little bit humbled by the outcome of that game too, and they're just going to go back to playing proper Dota with a little bit less emotions behind it. So I'm going to say Army Geniuses.
I think the BKB timing for them is incredibly important. If they can get it on pretty early from a Mang Dyer, Jug's of course going to have his own Blade Fury. It will take away a lot of the team fight capabilities that you're going to have, and I think through the early game they're going to have to be very reliant on winning every fight with when their team fights are up, and if they're not and they don't win them, we saw what happened with Army Geniuses in the previous game. So they got to execute fights incredibly well, and if they don't, then Army Genius is just going to take objectives. So yeah, I'm going to go with Dyer as well. They've got a very... Yangon don't shove waves. It's all on Hall.
Mm-hmm. Yup. I mean, Tusk needs to get level 15 before he's capable of doing it at all, and then it requires both of his abilities to be able to do it.
Yeah, and that takes too long to the game, especially as a 4. That's it. And we even see that the Beastmaster is gone for the build to just rush the Necros. We're seeing this a little bit more lately. Just the belt to strength, Falling Blade, and a pulled Tango. They're just going to try and get that Necro book as fast as possible, shove the Phantom Lancer into the jungle, and it's going to very much make it difficult for how Yangon can play once they lose that tower.
Why not? And you can even see on this top side, even though he's a position 4, skill 8, he just goes brace a Tango. He's built to brawl right now, along with Zorain. So I think this is where we're going to be focusing a lot of our attention on this top side. Similarly, of course, going the Ignite on the Ogre Magi. He's able to get that D-ward off, so nice little bit of gold injection coming into him, as well as an earlier than the other heroes level 2. It's going to be real nice.
You do see Dyer, they've already blocked that hard camp as well. So important against the ET. They got to be careful if Radiant do end up getting that open and free to use here for the Arena Elder Titan.
Skilla is actually going to go block the small camp, so yeah, good to be able to prevent all of these pulls, but ET's like, hey, where's my newts?
Where's my creeps? So maybe we even see him kind of stacking the hard camp, maybe, even just once down by their triangle. That wouldn't be too bad, especially for the Puck to be able to fall back and farm and then rotate to the top side.
They do end up dewarding it eventually, but the damage is done. I suppose by the time he hits level 3 and gets that really big damage spike, it's going to be a bit of a difference maker. But Skill A, him and you are just brawling. You've now got the Orb of Venom that he was able to get delivered out to him after getting that Observer Ward kill. So that's going to be really helpful for all of this brawling that's going to be going on. I think that, yeah, they just really need to understand their timings here on Army Genius's side. You just need to wait until this Astral Titan buff expires. As soon as that happens, they're going to start to play a lot more aggressive on Army Geniuses. Level 2 now on you as well.
So is this where you...
Right now. A little passive for mine. I feel like it's just going to become so difficult once this ET hits level 3. Probably just going to put the 1 point into the natural order at level 4 as well. Just going to make things even more difficult. And well, now that you've got that Astral Titan buff, you're chunking down this Ogre. Decent movement from him, but I think a part of that was just Yangon not perfectly executing their movement.
Yeah, you see, just whenever they have this extra damage advantage coming through from the ability, is going to make it so awkward for how they can position right now. And whenever they don't have the Astral, I wonder if they're waiting maybe for an extra point in Blade Fury and then to go on Zorain. We'll see if that's going to be the case. I mean, it's pretty close. His range creep should be enough, but ET's going to have that Astral back up pretty soon. He's so close, but he needs 8 more experience, unfortunately.
A little early on the pull there, coming from Skill A, so it's not actually going to stack this camp. You was in position anyway to body block it, but could have been a difference maker there. I think just one more creep should be enough to hit him onto his level 3. Anything happening on this bot side? Not really. Just pretty standard gameplay. Doing real nice, by the way, as Mamang Daya. Got a 6 last hit lead.
Yeah, and this is kind of how I was expecting at least it to go with the mag. Massive damage advantage. Parker's, you know, it's still a strong hero right now, but for a while we saw the base damage get nerfed pretty heavily. And especially when you're going up against mag. I mean, it's got 3.5 strength gain. A melee hero always going to build into that Quelling Blade and naturally with Empower. So yeah, you've got a very big damage advantage, and that's what we're seeing right now with 9 denies as well. So your Pocket, as long as if he doesn't end up falling and hopefully gets lucky with some power runes, but top lane, seeing the aggression come through with the tag team, Zarain. But that extra point up in the Astral is chunking down you. He's got to be careful there. Able to find first blood. DB, he's also getting crit through. But Zarain ends up losing out of the Astral. He's still got the movement speed thanks to the brown boots. DB's trying to chase him down. Can he find the vision? Has to sidestep the Echo Stomp, but unfortunately, not able to do so. But regardless, Zarain, who's got the movement speed? Just the ET, 5 extra.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised that it took until 4 minutes for us to see our first spin come through on DB. Like, yeah, he's got level 4 now, but I mean, again, you waited for ET to reach level 3. You gave up the first blood. When you've got an Ogre Magi in the lane who's got an Orb of Venom, who's got Ignite, I feel like they could have gone for a kill much sooner.
Tonight.
Yeah, definitely where they could have utilized the Astral being on cooldown. And well, now we do have to see ET running back all the way to base to try and get a refill up in the health pool. Juggernaut, he hasn't skilled up the healing ward just yet. If he does so, he doesn't have a mango or anything for the mana pool. But we're going to see a brawl around the bounties though. A lot coming out from Radiant to say the least.
Got a lot of movement speed coming through with the Astral buff now, especially now that the Ignite's worn off.
Chunk.
The briefcase.
Seriously,
what is he holding? It's like a... What is that, a tooth?
I don't even know. What's it called? The anvil.
The anvil. The World Forges anvil. That does not look like any anvil I've ever seen.
Yeah, I know. What the heck? Interesting.
And I've been playing Valheim, so I know what anvils look like, you know?
Not a emerald-looking anvil like Zarain's got?
No. Just a normal, you know, just a black standard... I mean, I had Scrooge McDuck in my background, so the standard, like, Acme brand anvil.
Acme.
God, I know, you're such a zoomer, man. It's like, you know, like Roadrunner cartoons. The company that shipped all of Wile E. Coyote's gadgets was the Acme company.
Oh, yes. I understand.
Oh, I hate you so much.
I mean, I'm wearing a Martian shirt.
Marvin the Martian?
Yeah.
Did you know that was his name?
I did.
Or were you just like, oh, some guy wearing a cool hat?
I'm looking at my shirt right now trying to find Marvin, but I found it. I read Martian first instead of Marvin, so I didn't get that one out first. He's kind of cool, honestly. I do remember him, but of course, did too much of Martian.
Back in the womb.
Back in the womb. Back in the days of seeing Martian. Marvin the Martian. The good old days of just watching kids shows. There's some good ones. And you get so addicted to them. Classics. ABC.
You a fan of Blinky Bill? Did you ever see that on ABC?
What the hell is Blinky Bill?
Oh my god, I hate you so much.
I mean, it's probably like, I don't remember the name.
Topside. There's a tusk rolling in.
Escape the combo. It's like, I probably, like, if I saw it visually, I'd be like, oh yes, I know what you mean. But like, just the name?
Every Australian kid should know what Blinky Bill is.
Blinky Bill. The Adventures of Blinky Bill?
Yes.
Oh, of course, yeah, I know. Okay, yeah, I see it visual, and now...
Oh, the Adventures. Oh, I see. That changes things entirely.
No, I looked it up. It's the... He's, the image, I mainly recognize him from the chocolates.
Regeneration.
Is he on chocolates?
Yeah, I swear he's...
Caramel Koala.
Maybe that's Caramel
Are you
Koala.
confusing them? I hate you.
No, alright, honestly, he looks pretty familiar. It's 1993. Man, that's 7 years before the birth. That's even before the womb.
Ugh. I'm sure it was still playing when you were, you know, young-ish. What did you watch growing up? Were you like was Bluey out when you were a kid?
No, I don't know what the hell Bluey was.
Oh my god. Okay, that's even more Zoomer. I don't know what goes beyond Zoomer than Bluey, but apparently it's a very good show.
Apparently, I'm trying to think now. And what shows? Whatever was rolling on the TV, man, there was some good ones.
Dora the Explorer.
Ah, man, love me some Dora the Explorer. Who doesn't? Now that was some 4 years old. Maybe get into some Dora. What,
I
Ben
just had
10's
Saturday
kind of
morning
popping.
cartoons with Ben 10. That's probably the biggest Zoomer cartoon of all.
Who doesn't like Ben 10? That's a great
That was
one.
after my time. I was just Pokemon, Dragon Ball Z, Digimon, Beyblade, all this sort of stuff. Blinky Bill.
Cool. We haven't had too much action. Just the farm fest that's naturally going to be when you're in a mag lineup. But they will drop the RP. The Tusk just making some aggressive rotations. I don't know if he was trying to ward. Has he got one? No, he doesn't. So, skill 8. No, he'll still end up falling.
You must have mistaken my
Yeah, I haven't seen, honestly. I wonder when Horror's going to start making some movements across the map as well. It does get an invis, so potentially if he shoves out this next wave, and might then think about being free to make a rotation to top or bot.
And this is the thing as well, like you're always going to be able to get a lot of harassment damage out onto this Beastmaster as the PL, right? You've got the Phantom Rush, you've got that extra 44 agility as soon as you hit that level 7.
In trouble is pretty beefy though. Treads, brace off, Fairy Fire as well, but Hor is able to bring him down. The help of the Tuskar, the damage is enough. Top side, we got an Omslash coming out as well. Zarang trying to man fight, almost finds a kill on you, but the crit from DB gonna secure that one. So kills across the map.
I'd be a little worried on Army Genius's side though with how much young PH is getting out of this lane. I mean, you just compare his net worth to the Juggernauts, he's nearly 1,000 gold ahead. It's an early-ish Diffusal Blade. You're not going to be worrying too much about those BKBs. They're going to find Lon, although, just is able to get off the Fairy Fire. The tower though!
That Tranks, it didn't pop him fast enough.
Didn't kick in.
Yeah. Lucky. I was worried that he popped that roar and I'm like, you might not get that kill and then that's going to be a little rough with your necro timing. But, like, I don't know, we're seeing he rushed the necros, but who groups up with him? Like, Mag still wants to farm. Jug, I guess, you pop Omni Slash now, so you don't really have this big ultimate where you want to infiltrate into the enemy safely, and even though you're probably stronger early on versus a Phantom Lancer, so it just feels like, yes, you pick up the Necro Book super early for Wommy, but he's just using it to farm.
And DB here, he's gone into the Manta style first. I really don't know how I feel about that. I mean, it's important to be able to get out of the silence coming through from the puck, but how are you actually going to kill them here? I'm not sure if the Empower is going to be enough.
Mang Dio might have to drop the RP here for skill A, although he does have the boards, which is level 4. Couple of right clicks, that's enough. Yeah, I guess, well, the big issue is the Manta. It seems like his only worry is the puck silence. Because if you're gonna get brought down through silence, like that's the one thing. If you don't have that control through him, he just pops blade through and he's fine. So it looks like he's going more of a defensive route, but does he go back into like a Maelstrom afterwards?
Might be a little late, to be honest.
Yeah,
I mean, the benefit of the Maelstrom first is that it also is a farming item. You know, you can go to the jungle and still have an okay time. It's also, you know, very early pickup. You can look to assist with taking these towers. And, you know, we've got a bit of an attempt on this bottom side, but young PH is not scared at all. He's like, well, you've got a couple of boars, and now we're trying to deal with his siege creep a little bit, but he's just getting gone on. Like, this is a 1v2.
Phoenix will fall. Ogre. Somehow, there's absolutely no way. Brawls across. Man, I was watching top because they were diving, but they still got the kill on young PH there. Nicely done.
Really nice by one, but they picked out the right one with the Primal Roar. There was about 5 illusions present.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Big tower to be able to find as well. DB getting involved there. Giving the farm. PL does have the diffusal, so he's still very farm right now from young PH, but that death is going to cost him.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
Towers across the map now. At least Army Geniuses get that early tower, which they were really wanting with the Beastmaster rushing the Necros. And it's going to open up the map here for DB. See how their farm's able to continue on. What's the... Is it still just a game of kind of little skirmishes across the map right now?
I think so. I mean, you can see as soon as they take out that tower, it's just this roaming army with... it feels like Ember Spirit's just a part of Beastmaster... sorry, Earth Spirit's a part of Beastmaster's army right now. Anyone that they find is just an easy pickoff.
Radiant. They're bringing the numbers mid, though. They still got Coil. Veil also picked up, so the damage right now from Radiant, highly magical as well. Snowball in. They're going to be able to catch out Wommy, man. Half his HP just evaporates. Now with the Supernova getting dropped in the river, where's the control coming out? McIntyre is doing a decent amount to be able to deal with the Tuskar. Beastmaster's going to end up trading his life as well. Thanks to the core getting dropped from Hor, but it's a 1-for-1. Like, they're still coming over, Youth. You can get a Fire Blast stun to be able to set up for maybe an extra follow-up in the mag, but he's just farming away, so... A couple kills. It's about all. Did they drop the RP? Silenced. Earth Splitter. Zareen. Not long enough for the Echo Stomp, however.
Doesn't matter. They've got the healing ward anyway.
Wonky stuff.
Wonky is probably the way I would put it. You know, it doesn't feel like either team is taking a decisive hold over this game just yet. And well. Yeah, the Echo Saber is going to make things a little easier for Mamang Daya. You know, you can see he's sitting at a level 12 right now, top of the experience board. It's always just going to happen, being able to share a lot of the map around with your supports. So, even them, they're having a pretty decent time. Yu's getting dived underneath the tower here, though.
Got some backup, though, with the Omni Slash getting dropped. Skill A is going to take the full brunt of the force thanks to the slashes. Once again, another 1-for-1, and Horde just scurries away with the lack of control really showing right now. Mamang Daya is still chasing. Meanwhile, Lon, he's in trouble as well. Gets a dive away to the low ground. He's going to be able to keep his life. Horde getting up. Mamang Daya. Ooh.
He could have, I think. I think that would have gone off.
That's frame. That's like, whew, do you go for it? Do you not? It's in his head there. It's like, if I miss it, I'm just going to see.
What's the point in cancelling it? You know? Like, what? If you're not going to go for it, don't go for it. You know? Just get out.
No,
I think he had it.
I'd say so too.
Maybe he didn't have vision of when he started the TP. I don't know. It's daytime, he probably did, but whatever. It's in the past. And we have a pause. We hear that it's a freeze of one of the computers. And
is that where he has to go agi treads, get a little extra movement speed? Maybe he would have got there faster. Is that the inefficiency?
Agi doesn't do that anymore, does it? I thought they removed that capability, and then like a lot of people felt like their heroes were just super slow because they took away a lot of these secondary stats that came from
yeah, I
strength
think
into
you're.
Nagi.
Like, never mind. Yeah, I think they did. Trying to think of what it was now.
I just remember like hearing people, especially ones that played like Morphling, and they're like, "God damn, this hero was slow,"
right,
because they normally were able to just rely super heavily on that attribute shift.
Yeah, I always think of I always get it confused with the primary attribute, like the primary gain that you get from it, like the armor or damage, etc.
Attack speed.
Yeah.
Yeah, movement speed. No more.
No more. Never mind. You're right, Mamang Daya. I'm just trying to rip into you, brother. You're performing well. Don't worry. 2-1-1. Looking good. Still there. Behind in the net worth at the moment. Radiant 2,000 net worth lead advantage so far. This is... Man, PL's getting very farmed. And this is going to be a worry. Yeah.
How do you deal with it?
Radiant are scared.
Like, Beastmaster don't
They're going to try now.
They're
taking an immense amount of damage, but the raw magnetized Lim and Wommy. That's how you deal with it right now. Still, as the game goes on, it's going to be a bit difficult, but they're coming over. Man, they want some revenge. Or who's going to drop the coil on? Just the Beastmaster. Lim dodges out on the double coil. Still, they're going to be able to continue on with the fight. Chucked up into the air, down to his death is the Beastmaster. Lim as well, chunked down, man. Rain plus 256 damage. Shockwaves gives him some space. They even dropped the Supernova as well. Mamang Daya, he committed him with that skewer. Is at least going to get out of range here. The Echo Stomp a little bit too late. Tries to dodge it with Illusion. A nice attempt there. But they've got to be careful because they don't have vision on the high gun and the reinforcements are coming through. They're The cavalry has finally arrived. The Jew finds the puck, but the follow-up isn't there from Lim. Still just 3 heroes right now as a Juggernaut freely farming down bot.
I think that's the biggest thing. Jug is being like, good job, guys. You're doing great, sweetie. And he's just sitting down there waiting for his Omni Slash to come back off cooldown. And he's pretty damn close to picking up that Manta Style. Yeah, just with that this small camp, he's going to be able to do it. So, pre-16-minute Manta Style, yes, it doesn't really have a lead-up with anything, but we're going to be pretty happy with how that's all ended up. A little surprised he doesn't have a neutral item, though.
I'll take that.
He got available.
I mean, if he's going to be farming this heavily, I feel like the Fated Brooch is really important. Mid lane, they found Ogre again.
Wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing the Jug showing up, especially with that Manta. It's a defensive factor that he's needing against the Puck. So wants to start getting involved. He's got level 12 now, so the extra point in the Omni Slash. They do lose the tower mid, unfortunately, though, so not being able to bring the numbers there to defend that.
I mean, when you've got this Beastmaster draft and you've only taken 1 tower at the 16.5 minute mark, it is a big worry. You know, they've gone Necro 3 with Brown Boots. So it's clear that that's the strategy that you've got. I mean, he's been on point with being able to find young PH. I mean, he's found the right PL twice now. But, you know, what else are you doing?
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
They're going to smoke up. Dire. They want to try and move this one too. The blink completed from Mang Dire, so they're getting a couple of items. I don't think they can Rosh yet. They definitely have a lineup that can do it pretty early, but 17 minutes in.
Pick off then Rosh. Yeah. That's the plan. I don't know what Wami's doing all the way back here though.
Yeah, this looks like
Radiant's courier has been
they're just not on the same page right now.
He's your team fight starter. I mean, they're eventually going to pick out Rosh, but they've already used the Ice Shards into the pit.
They're forcing it. I mean, Blink's not completed. You got to be careful. Taking a fight inside Roche with Yangon's lineup is super scary. Main Dire, blink in, drag back, Zarain, RP. Doesn't want to drop it just yet. Now with the Supernova, Horde's going to blink in as well, but the rest of Dire commit forward to try and deal with the Supernova. They're going to be able to do so successfully, but an instant buyback for the odd side. He wants to try and rejoin the fight. The DP, he's in trouble, dropping the Omni Slash. Look at the damage coming through. Getting tanked up thanks to the illusions, but still they found the real Phantom Lancer thanks to the draw. Holding in place, PO down 40 seconds. They're going to try and drop the ultimate for Zarain. Doesn't really do too much as the rest of Army Genius just tear them apart. Main Dire catches the puck on the higher ground. They're going to multicast as well. That's 5 down. Army Geniuses. They take the fight to Yangon by the tier 1 mid, and they come out on top.
Oh, I thought that was a pretty decent Supernova as well, especially after the puck had caught a couple of heroes, but they were just close enough. Jug able to get the spin off and freely hit away onto that. I mean, with the Bloodlust, you're just going to be hitting fast enough that the Supernova egg isn't going to be too much of a concern at all. They were able to take the tier 1 tower off of that as well. They're happy enough to take the Ancients away from them, but not feeling quite confident just yet to be able to go straight into Roche. A little surprising, I think, but just respecting the fact that this early on, the death timers are so low.
This is a worry because now you've caught the Phantom Lancer 3 times now with the Raw. So young PH 0-3 compared to the Jug, who's 4-0-3. So naturally, I mean, you're already getting buffed up from the Empower. And now just because you haven't died, you've got this casual GPM kicking in. You're just farming up a storm considering your PL being dead for your X amount of time now after the 3 deaths. And you've got to be worried. Yes, PL's still farm, but Dire are going to be able to deal with the Phantom Lancer before he gets the heart. They've got him power. Jug's going for this Mjolnir as the next item, and I'm really worried for Yangon here. This is not a game where Phoenix Supernova is guaranteed. It has to be picture perfect with how you position, because you're getting buffed up from the Beastmaster, you're getting buffed up from the Ogre, and Jug heavily deals with that. And even Mag's great. You've got Echo Saber. He's going to be hitting pretty fast eventually.
Yeah. Wami, he's found the Elder Titan. He's a core, so yeah, more than happy to use the Primal Roar from that. He's gone next into the BKB just to be able to tank up again from a lot of this damage coming out, and like you mentioned before as a possibility, now the Jug is going into that. Oh, that's a big kill on the Courier. The Maelstrom into the Mjolnir. I think it's the perfect way to go for this, like you just mentioned. So many ways to provide attack speed right now on Army Genius's lineup that you have to be worried. I don't know about this decision now to go into the Roche pit. I mean, they're all alive. You know they've got all of their ultimates available. At least wait until you've got your Maelstrom in your inventory. It's being delivered through to
Lim trying to catch up the puck. What do we feel like is a way that the ET can get back into this game? Because Zarain struggling in the net worth, KDA is not looking too good either. How can he have more impact as this game goes on?
I mean, he's got it queued up, that's how. The Acceptor, it just completely changes how an Elder Titan takes team fights. Suddenly you're not afraid of anything except the RP. It feels like they've been needing to hold this Primal Roar for the PL to be able to catch him out, and once you don't have to worry about that too much, it's, you know, you're doing just fine.
We're gonna see skill they picked off down bot here. Mimang Dire and you gonna be able to cut him down through the trees, so killing spree right now for Ewan. Is able to have a little bit more farm than what we saw last game when they went for the Willow, so getting some nice items, especially once he gets that pipe. It is a lot of magic damage that Radiant are dishing out.
For sure.
There was 2,000 net worth lead for Yangon, but after the past previous fights that Army Geniuses have been able to undertake, they've turned this lead in their favor and are now really the ones contending to take this game.
Yep. Very important for Army Geniuses as well, like we mentioned before. Starting 2-0 in this lower division, and I think a series of 3 losses. So this would be a nice way to at least, bare minimum, secure themselves a spot in the lower division for the next season.
It looks like that's what both teams playing for right now, just to try and secure themselves in the lower division for the next season. Pretty important, because you don't want to go through that open qualifiers. It's anything can happen through there. Wommy, well, he's going to get found here. Burnt out a mana, so this will be the time where Young PH going to be able to get a little bit of revenge. Lim's still coming over. Young PH instantly gets out of him, and they got the numbers, so they just burned through Earth Spirit.
Nicely done. Again, though, I feel like that was heavily on the PH, on Young PH. That's he didn't even actually end up getting either of those kills. Went to the puck and the Phoenix. Could they look to take Roche away?
I think they can, yeah.
Right now.
I like this. Yep, and also he went Medallion as well.
They're questioning themselves. They're second guessing. I feel like if you have any opportunity to take around that Roche pit, you kind of have to.
Do you think that's the reason why he went Medallion, just for that opportunity to take away from Dire? Because naturally Radiant, yes, Tusk is very good to take Roche, but their other heroes aren't too strong at doing so.
I mean, potentially, or you might just be wanting to get a solo pickup onto a lot of these heroes before you're able to get off their big ability. You know, like Juggernaut, yes, you've got the Manta style to stop from silences, but if you're snowballing him into a punch, into a Dream Coil mini stun, it's enough to be able to take him out. And their hesitation means that Army Geniuses, they're like, well, it's 23 minutes, we probably should have been gone for our second Roche by this point, but we'll take the first.
Yeah, they'll take it with ease as well, as DB claims the ages, and now we wouldn't mind seeing them. How close to the items are they? Mjolnir very close for the Juggernaut. Anything else that they're waiting for? No, they're going to smoke up here. I'm going to wrap on top, it looks like, but they're going to run into 2 Radiant heroes, and they've got a nice ward positioning as well. Out of there. Got to be careful on the PL. He actually doppelgang is in now. Now with the RP follow-up, they're going to be able to deal with the illusions. Phantom Lancer gets a little bit of protection, but Sunray, can they bring him down throughout the stun duration? They can. PL going to end up falling here. No extra help from Radiant. Okay. I was worried that Army Genius was going to the stage. I was surprised the doppelganger just directly on top of them.
And even just the roll after was really nicely done by Lim. Able to catch out the Phoenix towards the end of the Sunray cast, yes, but it just meant that it discouraged any kind of follow-up that they were going through. All that time as well, Juggernaut just farming away, was able to finish up his Mjolnir. He could probably move the Wraith Band into his inventory, as he does just now, and he hit up his level 18 as well, so he is incredibly scary in these team fights.
That's a big item though, the Aghanims on the puck. Now your team fight, you've got a big spike now with your team fight, not having to worry about the Jug with the Blade Fury.
Oh no.
That's a nice little snipe.
I mean, could that be the difference in being able to get off a Supernova or not? We shall see. Hyperstone, of course, would have definitely helped the Mag to try and deal with it, but he's still got this Juggernaut to deal with.
Even went for the skill range as well at level 20.
Oof.
A lot of mobility. Do you rather the skill range or the health this game?
I think the skill range is fine, just because the main person that's going to be dealing you damage is the PL, and once you've got your mana burned, you're probably not going to be taking all that much. Oh, they know Lon's here.
Oh, the dive. Oh, it fell Lon. Oh, no. Oh, this is so interesting. I love seeing the Ag Shot for the Beastmaster. We saw it on Monday, mid lane as well. DB just slashes down the ET there. Going from lane to lane, finding kill after kill. Puck's gonna be careful as well with the kick back. Wommy just a little bit too late on the Raw.
Should have used the dive bomb, Hawk.
Damn it. Gotta be quick. I think Dyer's gotta be careful actually down bot. Gonna run into young PH. He's got a BKB, but now the core is gonna prevent any factor just being able to dip out. He's gonna see now that it's an Aghanim's coil. He's like, oh, why did I pop this BKB? It's completely useless.
Some value. Give him some small chance. And is that... That was his first kill. Very nicely done, young PH. 700 gold going his way. And yeah, getting close to that level 20. I mean, it isn't out of their reach. It is still very possible for Yangon to come back into this.
That was a interesting snowball, my good sir. He's like, oh, I'm just gonna go into the Juggernaut. Why not? Who's level 20 now, so got the Blade Fury DPS, can help also deal with the PL illusions, and building into the Aghanims as the next item here. So we're just continuously seeing Army Geniuses hitting item timings.
Again, this just comes back to my point that I feel like we've touched on a few times now. I like the fact that Army Geniuses picked up this this Earth Spirit relatively early on into their draft. It means that skill A we've seen, he's very good on his Rubik, he's very good on his Earth Spirit. If you take one of those two heroes away, suddenly you've got a lot less to play around. And they've picked him this Tusk, which, again, I'm not really seeing what it does in this game, you know? Like, maybe he's able to blink and snowball to save someone from being roared now, or whoever's getting Omni-slashed is the main goal for him, but I don't know, I feel like you could have gone for some other kind of counter-initiator that's also perhaps a little bit stronger in lane, but yeah, this Tusk doesn't feel like it's done much of anything thus far.
Yeah, so far, I would agree. I do think as the game goes on, though, it's going to be a nicer defensive factor to deal with the Raw or the RP or the Omni like you highlighted. When did they pick it up? Was it before... Was it when the Ogre and the Earth Spirit were showing?
Tusk was their third pick.
Yeah, so they picked it pretty early, and honestly, Army Genius has picked heroes into the toss that you don't really want to go into a save with. So, just so far, we haven't really seen too much of an impact. I think they were very much anticipating that ET toss lane to go better than it. I don't think it would bad, but I thought they wanted a lot more kills out of it to then snowball.
Sure, but they could have died a lot more as well. I feel like this Juggernaut and Ogre didn't abuse their timings either.
Then how long they got on the Aegis? It's another 50 seconds, so DB pretty close to the Aghanims here. Ancients, if that's going to be enough for him or not, but also some neutral items. That's nice against PL.
Shot is going to be real nice as well on the Juggernaut against the PL. Just to be able to spin right in the middle of a team fight, be slashing away, have your Mjolnir proccing. It's great. It is only once per second though, so it's not affected by your attack speed.
Any little extra buff you can get in the AoE to help deal with the illusions, so I think you definitely take.
Radiant are scanning.
Nice to be able to dish out a bit of AoE damage while you're trying to deal with the egg as well, though.
Yep. Well, there we go. Finally, Zarain, he's got kind of the big item that he was looking for. The Ag's picked up, so we'll hopefully see a little bit more impact from this ET, but
he needs something else. He needs level 15. He's really close to it. So, I think he's in this mid lane is where he needs to be, soaking up this experience that's gone with this creep wave. They might have to play a little bit more carefully because the Aegis just expired on Army Geniuses. Oh, don't go too far forward, Zorain. You just picked up your item. You don't have buyback.
Meng Dai skewers him back. They get the silence as well. Look how fast he gets brought down. Not too much armor against this lineup. I mean, when you don't get an Astral out, makes it pretty awkward. And he's down, like you said, doesn't have a buyback here. Dai, what do they want to do with this? Thinking about walking up the high ground, they go. They still got all their ultimates available. You got to be careful because Radiant, their team fight, pretty goddamn scary as well, but they don't have the ET. They need to slowly burn the mana on DB. That's a big factor if the PL can get the illusions going. Skewer. They find the Phoenix. Where's the extra stun lock? They're even going to commit the Roar as well. Phoenix down 45 seconds, but another pick off here Army Geniuses just continuing the onslaught. They'll drop the Necro 3s, walking up the high ground. They don't want to relieve the pressure right now.
Nice micro as well from DB. Made sure to keep that healing ward away from the PL for the majority of that fight. He ends up getting it towards the end, but it was basically done its duration anyway. That should be a tier 3 easily claimed. No, just gonna save it on 50 HP.
Just keep it up. Do they double back here? See what Dai want to do.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Close it in on that 30-minute mark though. So we got bounties, outposts, Radiant. They need to do something. You got to get outside the base for the outposts here. They might be a bit too late, and they're underneath the ward, so this is going to be super obvious.
I mean, they're underneath the ward. They're also underneath the Hawk, which I'm surprised they haven't been able to de-ward. They had complete vision of that smoke coming through, and well, even though they had complete vision, they can just leave, right? They know that they're not going to get there in time to deal with the Aegis.
Smoke pops. Hall is instantly going to try and blink on forward. Remember, this is the Aghanim's Poil, so Joke's going to be incredibly careful with the position. They're going to try and dive on forward and drop the Supernova, but instant with the counter blink on, they will be able to deal with the RP as well, giving the space to Phoenix. Supernova's going to end up popping up with the Omni Slash as well, ripping down Puck. It's all up to young PH, but they found the real Phantom Lance to tear him apart. They do. Army Genius says they're not done just yet. Chasing down Skilly. He's hiding through a couple of trees left standing, but he will end up falling too. Man, just a vision game from Army Geniuses.
Vision, cohesive draft, good spell usage, good item timings, good positioning, and honestly a little lacking on Yangon's side, just to not take that around the same time. I mean, again, I mentioned it before with Zorain. Like, he lived through all of that, but he has not gained any experience in the past 3 minutes. So he's still not level 15. He still can't make maximum use out of this Ag Scepter.
Needs that extra buff up in the talent, and they're going to work here. They got the AC, they got Catapult Wave, Necro 3s, Jugs fat through the roof, and now, oh lord. Swift Slash crit him down. That's another death here in Yangon. It's all falling apart right now for the boys on Radiant. I mean, they're just going to continue losing. They might just get Megas here. Look how fast they siege. This is what happens. You highlighted this. I mean, you've got a lineup that if you win a fight, you just take an objective after objective. And Radiant now, to defend this, they don't have Supernova. Hall dropping the coil. Damage needs to come through for young PH. He's going to try and dish it out, but he's got to be careful because he has to actually retreat away. Radiant, they found the real Phantom Lancer once again, is able to get the man dropped now with the doppelganger. Young PH scurries away. Jug falling a little low, but they've caught out the real Phantom Lancer. One with the roll. Where's the fall? Lim's going to roll him forward. Finds connection now. Secure is dragged back as well. Young PH, doppelganger in the nick of time, is able to get a little bit of health back from the heart, but they're still diving underneath the tier 4 tower. The axe is enough to be able to secure the kill. Skill lane's going to end up falling as well. 2 down from Yangon. They got a couple of buybacks. Meanwhile, outside the base though, going to work. DB and Hall. They're solo 1v1. Who's going to end up winning it though? They're not done just yet. They want these Megas. They want him now. Cut him down. Take him out of the game here. Mag's going to end up falling, but DB still the Juggernaut shredding them apart here. Crit after crit. Supernova's going to end up popping. They're able to deal with the Earth Spirit. Now back in they go. Dire. They're incredibly healthy. They're able to utilize this healing ward to their fullest advantage here, but maybe they're getting burnt down a little bit too long. Have they stayed their welcome? Or blinking on. Core's about to come back up as well. They are able to cut out the Jug, but where's the damage? The team's not there. Hall, it's pretty much just up to the Puck, the solo man out of all of Yangon, turning these fights on their head. They'll get the TP out, but man, that fight cost them heavily there. A lot of objective damage has been done.
That was a pretty long fight. Just have a quick look at the old fight recap, and yeah, like you said, it's very much Puck playing a lone hand. Of course, Phoenix helping out heavily with that Sunray, not just for the damage, for the healing as well. The Holy Locket able to sustain up the rest of the team, but again, you highlighted it sort of in game 1 where he was having a bit more of a difficult time. Zorain, it feels like his impact is essentially non-existent this time around. You know, he's been picked off by a skewer, it feels like 3 times now, when he's been slightly out of position or just trying to get that one little extra thing before a team fight, whereas I mean, maybe things will change around a little bit when he's actually able to start right-clicking people with this Ags buff, but we're yet to see it. And now they're 2 lanes of racks down plus a tier 3 tower, so good luck dealing with these creeps pushing into you.
Okay, maybe they get Roche. Jugs up in 20. I mean, Dai got RP. There's a chance, but man, they're not taking it too far still with this.
You got to at least send the boars in for the vision.
Well, Jog's up in 5. This is taking a little bit too long.
Nice cutting off of the entranceway.
They just want kills. They know that's going to take a bit too long with Roche. Ogre chucked up in the air from the punch. Lim's even going to try and jump in as well with Coral Drop. Pops himself with the BKB, but Lim's just taking a little bit too much damage here. Jog's able to rejoin them now. Look at the damage. They dropped the Supernova. Mang Dai's going to be able to follow up as well with the attack speed. It's through the roof. Supernova has never been able to go off this game, and now with the RP follow up to 2. Army Geniuses. They also get the stun thanks to the Hawk. Drop him down. Young PH. Doppelganger's on top of him here. They're able to find the real Phantom Lancer. They don't have buybacks here. They'll chase down Zarrain as well. The impact hasn't been there so far in the ET. They're trying to buy back to potentially hold this Roshan, but it's just PL and the POC. Army Geniuses hold on until the Jug's alive, and they turn that fight.
Wobby's just found him over and over and over again. Lots of
they steal it? No, POC has used everything now. How do you get out? Burnt out of mana. Luckily, he's got a buyback, but I mean, the lanes are getting pushed in. Yeah, no doubt. That's looking like all she wrote. I mean, Young PH just has no damage, and they heavily deal with them. And look at that. But Mang Dai, he's got this talent. They find Young PH once again. Doppel's on cooldown. He's got a Duke and Giant, but this blade through damage is through the roof. Once again, the Raw. They find the real Phantom Lance, and that's it. Man, how many times are they going to find the real Phantom Lancer throughout the Raw? Womni on point this game with the ultimate usage, or try and delay as much as possible, but this is over. They drop it. Army Geniuses. They're going to take the series here. Beautiful performance from them, and looking good.
They're Tipper DB. He played a good game. I have to give it to Womni, right? Like, yes, they weren't able to get many towers out of the early game, but the fact that he was able to catch out the PL that many times, 11, 3, and 19, ending up out of 30 out of 39 kills that Beastmaster was involved in, plus all of the aura, plus all the tower push that he was able to provide. Easily MVP for mine.
Just a highly well executed draft and performance from Army Geniuses. They were able to hit their timings in stride, and we did not really saw those couple of deaths on the PL just delayed the timing, and it costed them pretty big. This last pick mag enabled the farm to come through. They itemized so goddamn well from Army Geniuses, and this was honestly just very impressed with how they were able to execute in team fights. Whenever Supernova dropped, instantly, blinking in RP just to even help out to zone them away, dropping Raw, just collapsing on the Supernova to bring it down. And I mean, Hall had an incredible performance, like we were relying on the puck to do so, but just the other cores kind of fell off a little bit too much. And Yangon, they're going to drop now down to 1 and 5, and Army Geniuses are going to go 3 and 3 here. So I believe with that victory, Army Geniuses looking to continue to make sure they have an opportunity of being able to play in the lower division for the next season. But then, how are we feeling with this series?
I feel like it was, again, the story of the lower division, all draft related. I feel like game 2, it was just Army Geniuses not playing around their draft. They didn't have a bad draft. They just didn't play around what was the strength for them. But this time around, it was just, I don't see where the Tusk and Elder Titan fit into what Yangon were trying to do, for one, but also how that is actually going to contest into what Army Geniuses have that they were throwing at you. So it was a mistake that's going to come back to bite them. They end up dropping the series 1-2. And yeah, they're precariously positioned right now. I mean, they've got one game left. It's the last game of the entire tournament. Imagine that. And it's up against Little Gun. So I think Little Gun, they've secured themselves. I don't think they're in a position to drop down anymore, but that is an absolute must-win game now for Yangon Galacticos if they want to at least force a tiebreaker against some of these other teams that are in relegation territory.
Well, that's going to be it for us in the lower division. But guys, we've got two more series, I should say, over for the upper division. We've got some crackers. We're going to see the introduction of in your sorry, I should say of 23 Savage over on Boom. So we'll see they're going to be going up against Execration. That game's going to be starting pretty much after this one's already done. So I'd say about 10 minutes for that one, and the series after that we got Tier 1 versus Vice as well. So that's going to be on the main PGL channel. We will host them. Yeah, we'll send you boys over. You don't have to do nothing. You can just stay there. Stream's going to go over straight away. We'll make it super easy for you guys, and how exciting that's going to be. Boom, with 23 Savage coming in. We were already speaking about earlier in the stream that seeing, it's not a DPC without seeing Savage in it. Honestly, it's one of the star players, and Boom able to pick him up and play with him now, and we'll see how Execration are going to fare against the squad. What quick predictions? How are we feeling for the 2 series tonight?
Should realistically be 2-2-0s for Boom and T1.
I have to agree with that one. And well, with that being said, guys, that's going to be it for us tonight. We do have 2 series tomorrow for the lower division. We're going to have Lil Gun up against Hoyo and Galaxy Racer up against 0-2. But with that being said, we've got some more incredible Southeast Asian action with the upper division. We're going to send you guys over now. Appreciate everyone tuning in. We'll see you guys tomorrow.